we moving, saying she with it.
We're live now. You're on screen.
What?
You're on YouTube. Look at you go.
Hey. Hello.
Hey, everybody. You know me. It's Kat, the Elsewhere podcast. I still don't have an intro, and I never will. Because I can't think of what to say. I say the wrong thing every single time. But over here is Amy. If you guys see above her, it says Losing My Religion, Amy's story. This is her story tonight. Something a little different. We're doing a little bit different content today. This is not content creators, artists, authors, reactors, YouTubers. This is somebody who's got a legitimate story, who just wants to kind of share and get her take on everything out there. And this is the first time that she's really doing that. So I am stoked and honored that she's doing it here. And I'm fixing the chat in the YouTube because it's tiny and it needs to be huge. Let me put it over here so it can be seen better. There, that's better. No, that's not better.
I hope I can see the chat too.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube, you should be able to pull it up. And then you can see what people are saying or asking and all that fun stuff.
Ooh. Oh gosh, I'm so lost. That maybe
You want me to send you the link? I can do that. Give me a second.
Let's see.
I literally thought I had an alert box here somewhere, but it disappeared off the face of the planet. So that's nice. Where are you? I don't know.
Let's see here.
All right, let's look. Let's go. Hey, Jess, thanks for being here. She's going to be here the whole time. That's one of my mods. I love her to pieces. She's been in my Discord, and the Discord started first. She's been in my Discord since day one. She is literally my day one.
Okay, that is awesome.
Santa Claus, I'm sorry. I see that you said your best friend passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you are doing okay. And condolences to you and his family and everybody else. I'm sorry. There's really nothing you can say when someone passes.
I know.
Except, I'm sorry for your loss. Everyone says that. And sometimes you just got to say, damn, that sucks. And you mean it from your heart, and that's that.
Exactly.
I mean.
Exactly.
What's up, Casey? I see you. Wallflower. Jared. Annette, I see you. Okay, so, fun fact. There's Savvy. Hi, Savvy and Champagne Rain. Amy, fun fact.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Sorry. I'm I can't see the comments, but that's okay.
No, you want me to send you the link?
Well, I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
Should I have my husband come in?
Well, what you can do is, all you got to do is pull it up on YouTube and then mute it or pause it on YouTube, right?
Okay.
And then you'll see the live chat below. And you can see what everybody's saying. Gemini Vixen. Oh, that's one of yours. She says, hi, Amy. Love you, girl.
Hi.
What's up, Mark? Hi, Mom. Mom's in here.
Okay, I might have to go to YouTube on my phone.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's in the chat. She remembers you.
Yay!
From way back when.
Mama Cat.
Mm-hmm. I love her. Can I turn her up? Yeah, you got it. I'll turn her up.
Oh.
Thank you for telling me. I'm let her shout at you. How's that?
Okay, now I see.
Well, see. Oh, what I was going to tell you was.
Oh gosh.
Something that people don't know, or they might know. Some of them know. Amy, you and I met in third grade?
Yes.
So we knew each other in third grade.
I know. You were my everything.
Yeah, you were mine too. So when it comes to you telling your story, this is really big for me because, I know you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know your family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, your husband and kids and stuff because we actually fell off for, about, 15 years. Where we just kind of saw each other in passing on, social media.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Fun fact, Annette, I met when I was 16 and has been my ride or die since then. So when it comes to the people in my life that are still in my life, other than my mother, you and Annette and my mom being in the same space at the same time is everything.
Wow. I feel honored to be in that.
Well, it's one of those things where you say, "Hey, we're gonna be best friends forever," and it happens or it doesn't happen,
Yeah, I
and
guess it did.
it did.
Yeah, definitely.
What's up,
That's
Ben? I see
awesome.
you. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, it's been a heck of a ride. I think we've both been through some
Uh,
major stuff. We've gone through. I mean, we went through 20
mhm.
years of, or actually almost, goodness, like
Oh,
almost
is it
30
more?
years of living our lives
Yep,
since third
yep.
grade happened. So
I know. Third grade. Yeah, I think you hit me up on IG, right? And
yeah.
then I just kind of like told you like what had kind of happened, and you're like, wait, whoa, this is like crazy. So um, and then I found out about your podcast, and then we're here. So
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, the second you told me what happened, I'm like,
Mm.
you've got to come on.
I know.
You have to come on. Like that's not a you can't. It just has to happen because you
Yeah.
actually have a story that is not typical and a little bit out there, a little bit heartbreaking, a little bit
Mhm.
great. I mean, it just is
Mhm.
what it is, and it's not something that
Yeah.
everybody hears every day. And I've seen you reach
Yeah.
out, like you want people to see that
Mhm.
they can do what you did and come out on the other side,
Yeah.
right?
I think people are definitely scared to, you know. Yeah, it's a scary thing, but you know,
There's
just do it.
Megan. Amy, you look hot, girl. Love you.
Hi, Megan. Mm.
Yeah, liquid courage. Let's go. I'm taking the combination with an energy
Oh.
shot.
Oh. Okay. Oh, wow.
hmm
I haven't tried that one.
Well, hey Ben,
Yeah.
I don't have Streamlabs. Like if you put exclamation point Discord, Streamlabs is gonna laugh at you because it hates me and will never work right. So the best bet we have is for Jess to post the link or to go down in the description, and you can see the link for the Discord down there. Um, the link for the Discord is below. By the way, this is going to be on YouTube. It's also going to be on Spotify, Amazon, and
Mm.
Apple. So if anybody wants to listen or if
Okay.
they're listening later, the link should be
Yeah.
available in all of those platforms. Ben, you didn't get the commands right because there is no commands. That's the point. Jess has the Discord link. It's discord.gg/go elsewhere. Because where else would you be? There it is.
I love that.
So anyone that's listening outside of this platform and seeing us on video, you can come to YouTube and you can see us on video with the live chat. It'll still be up so you can see what everybody's saying. If not, no big deal. We don't mind. Let's open that.
What are you drinking now?
Nothing.
Cat?
Hey, Mom, you still here? Nothing?
We won't.
I ain't doing nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, just yeah.
Water.
I should have had a not a see-through cup. Oh well. All right.
This doesn't matter. We don't care about that stuff here.
I know, right?
I mean, we got
Oh
stupid. Me and the guys got stupid at this after party
oh
St.
my gosh.
Patrick's Day last year.
Yes.
And we
It would be
did,
so fun to hang out with. Like,
my God,
yeah.
we did the donos for shots.
What what is that?
Donations for shots. Like, hey, you want to take a
Oh,
shot? Make a
okay.
donation. There was a
Oh
lot of
gosh.
donations, and there was a lot of shots
Ooh.
happening.
And a lot of shots.
There was a lot going on.
Ooh. What kind of shots? Tequila or
I don't remember.
vodka?
I really don't remember. Hey, Mom, are you talking about my
Oh.
sync? Are you talking about like my mouth moving versus the
Oh,
sound? She's telling me the sync is off.
oh, it okay. It is a little bit. Come to think of it.
Are you watching it? So I'm like, we're like a Godzilla movie.
Yep,
It's like,
that is true.
oh no,
That is true.
Godzilla.
I know. Yep,
I'm just gonna move my mouth randomly, and then you guys will
my
never know when I'm speaking.
my Asian peeps in that movie.
Just me. I have a delay, and nobody else.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Rude. Hold on. Jeez. I'm usually like on top of this. It's like my platform, so I'm supposed to be like.
What?
Oh, and there you are.
I lost ya. Oh, oh,
I did it on purpose. I'm hoping to like snap it out of.
oh,
Well, it's not
oh.
important. I'm not important. This is your
Yeah.
story, so it's all good. I have a delay. That makes me sad.
I know. What?
Well,
What's going on?
it wouldn't be
Well,
my stream if it wasn't a little bit ratchet. So technical
just don't look
difficulties.
at your
It's-
mouth.
Yeah, don't look at my mouth, y'all. Like, do you
Don't
want
look.
me I should put a mask on, and then you guys are screwed. You wouldn't know when I'm talking anyway.
Oh my gosh. That's right.
Delayed waving. How?
What is that?
Oh, Ben's like, no, it's
Oh.
him on. He's on delay because he's been drinking. Okay,
Oh,
I love my
that is
people.
hilarious.
What's up, Desiree? Appreciate you coming through. Maybe it'll fix itself.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it
true.
won't.
Maybe people will have to watch to see if it fixes.
No, basically.
Oh.
Well, whatever happens, happens. You know, what happens what happens elsewhere
Yeah.
stays elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I waved
like
and
that.
it was delayed, Mom. How
Oh,
did you know I was waving? Did I say I was waving? Maybe I waved right on time and you just
Did you
didn't
wave?
know.
Oh my gosh.
Muffle what? What? I don't like y'all anymore.
What?
No, it's all good.
What is she doing?
Okay, so technical
I'm
difficulties
gonna write down
aside,
questions.
you can
too.
write down
It-
anything you
So
like.
then, if I don't want to miss any questions. So
Mm.
yeah, hopefully not.
I'll try to catch them from the chat.
Yeah.
I wanted to give our background on how we know each other. I think it's
Yes.
important because let me just start it by saying
Mhm.
a disclaimer. What we are talking about tonight is your exit from
Mhm.
the Mormon religion, correct?
Mhm.
From the Mormon church,
Mhm.
from the Mormon religion, and everything that happened. Basically, Jess just said, "Oh my God, I'm waiting for my mom to pop in behind me and pop me upside the back of the head."
What? Oh no! Watch
Okay.
behind you.
Mhm.
Make sure-
She'd be coming from this direction. So
okay, so our left, your right.
I have no idea.
Okay.
What's up, DJ Turtle?
Oh.
All right. So basically, what we're talking about is your exodus from the Mormon religion. And the reason that I'm mentioning this and how long we've known each other is because I was fully aware that you were Mormon when I was a kid. Like, for example, we were at what's it called? We were at a carnival
probably
at the
remember
elementary
more
school.
than I do. Okay. Yeah.
And you could only get the Sprite.
Yes.
And I wanted the Sprite, but I gave you the Sprite because you weren't allowed to have caffeine. So you took my Sprite. I mean, you took the Sprite.
I took this right.
But it's okay because I loved you. And I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know what it was. But, you know, over the years, I just knew, for what it's worth, I just knew that you were Mormon. And then later in life, I found out more about it in general.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Bits and pieces, probably.
yeah. I mean, I knew that you were, but then, I'd hear things of other people I worked with and all this stuff, and I was really curious about it.
Yeah.
And, it just was a thing. And I think I blame you for my curiosity just because, the Mormon religion, the people that I know that were Mormon are very secretive. They're very quiet about their practices. You don't speak about it. Don't say anything. You don't talk about what's going on. You don't talk about practices. You don't talk about what's happening in the temple. You don't talk about any of that. What's up, John? Appreciate you coming through. You don't talk about it, right? Because it's very, I don't want to say secretive. I don't think that's the right word for it. I think it's very...
they say like sacred.
Sacred. Thank you. That's a better word.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though now it's out on the internet everywhere. You can find it.
The last time I went down the rabbit hole, here's the thing.
Oh.
I go down rabbit holes and I research it like 5-6 years ago. What's up, Jared? Thanks for swinging through. And the problem is that what I found was kind of like the Illuminati side of it.
Oh, yep.
Okay. So, and then I realized I was like down the Illuminati Mormon rabbit hole. Like the extreme
wow,
side
I never
of
heard
it.
that. Yeah, I could see that though.
Well,
Yeah.
it likened it to
Interesting.
cult type practices because of how
Yep.
secretive it is, how
Mhm.
exclusive. It's not inclusive at all, and
Yep.
how you are once you're in kind of mentality.
Yeah, I could see that.
Ben tipped
Yeah.
$10. This is for Patricia. Thanks, Ben. Mom, I'll get that to you in a minute.
Oh, it
I bought
cracks
your
me up.
stuff at Walmart. That counts.
You got
But
a deal.
yeah, but no. Basically, what I'm saying
Ah,
is that there's a lot of curiosity, and I stopped going down that rabbit hole. And then I got into like that
yep.
Leah Remini or whatever her name is with the
Oh,
Scientology,
the
and I was like,
Scientology.
I wish I could
Yep.
find somebody, but you just never know. You just never know who's
I
telling
know.
the truth and who's kind of embellishing a little bit.
Yep.
So I have a feeling that
Yep.
that has something to do with part of this, just a little bit. Some of the
Mhm.
best
Um,
practices that maybe aren't the best,
yeah.
and and then on top of that, it's not easy to change everything that you know.
Yeah. And your friends and your family, even. Yeah. But
So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with
oh
what
gosh,
like how it was
where
when
to
you
start?
were like growing up and stuff, or like kind of how?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
I
start
kind of
from there. Let's start at the beginning, y'all. Let's go
the
there.
beginning. I kind of wrote some notes, kind of like a timeline,
Okay.
because I was like, oh gosh, like it's like where to begin. So hopefully this will keep me on track. But yeah, to start at the very beginning. Now I sound like Sound of Music, but or wait, is that the is that the movie?
Let's start at the very
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah. What's up, Papa Shoot? Appreciate you being here, man.
Okay. So my dad, he grew up Mormon. Yeah, they were all Mormon. And when he went on a mission, so I think most people know that they go on a mission, right? The boys usually go on a mission when they're 19. They can't they can decide if they want to go, but it's they say that you
Expected.
can choose, but
It's
it's kind of
expected.
like expected. Yeah.
Hmm.
They don't want to be the parents that their son didn't go, or. Um, and so he went on a mission, and he went to Japan, and he met my mom there actually, and he baptized her, and so that's how she got Mormon.
Wait,
Yes. Hmm.
he baptized her. Like, okay, so you're talking about in the context that literally she wanted to join the religion, she was going to be baptized, and he just happened to be the one to do it.
No, he actually taught her
Okay. Hold on, I'm
in
getting a
her
pen.
family. Hmm.
I see questions. That's why I'm getting a pen.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm like, I know that there's going to be a lot of questions. Hmm.
We're here for it, y'all. I'm serious. Like, Amy is,
Hmm.
she is here for this. She knows that there's going to be questions. She knows that people are going to have
Oh yeah.
contradictory or controversial, comments, opinions,
Hmm.
questions, whatever. And she's willing
Oh yeah.
to put it all out there. So I can't say thank you enough. Hi, Sarah. There's another one of my mods. Appreciate you.
Hmm. Yay!
All right, go ahead. Sorry. So he
Oh no.
baptized her. He taught her.
Yeah.
He, got her. Did she know about it before he
Yeah.
met her, or was she like already
Um,
willing?
I don't know. I mean, pretty much everyone in Japan is Buddhist, so it's really hard to have them change religions. Um, I think she had a crush on him because he was American, and they love Americans. They just seem so like they're like movie stars to them. Like Tom Cruise, like you know,
I need to go
any
to
white
Japan.
guy is Tom Cruise, and so okay, yeah, I think she did it because he's cute. And she was the only one in her family that joined. Um, so she got baptized, and then she would go to church with him. Like they would go to the same, like they call them wards. I don't, yeah, um, yeah. We'll get more into that too. And yeah, so I'm because the guys go for 2 years, And I'm trying to think, I don't know where in that 2 years she joined, but I know when he left, she went to the airport to see him go, her and her friends. And so, which I don't know if that's really, supposed to happen, but yeah, it's very frowned upon to date while you're on your mission. It's they always have you with another guy, so there's always two of you. You can't go into a house with a single woman or two girls because then it's like a date,
Right.
or yeah, they call it like it would be like a date. So they can't date for 2 years, and so she saw him leave, and then, gosh, how did they even first? I think did he? Oh, because he must have knew her address. Okay, so I think he wrote her a letter. This was when, of course, yeah, no email, texting, yeah, all of that. So he, yeah, I think wrote her a letter, and then somehow it became a romance going on. Um, I think he even sent telegrams, which, gosh, when was that
I was going to
like
say,
done?
they don't still do those?
It's funny. I think for their, gosh, how many years have they been married? I think for like their 30th anniversary or something, he found someone that did a telegram, I think, and
Oh,
did a telegram.
that's
But
super
um,
sweet, though. I mean, to be honest,
I know,
this is cutting up like a really cool like romance.
yeah,
Like, what a
yeah,
great
it was
story.
cool. It was cool.
Minus
Um,
the we're not really supposed to be doing that while we're on mission type
mm,
vibes.
they were naughty. um, and so, but yeah, they just like wrote back and forth. And then, gosh, okay, I have to remember. I think she flew out there to where he was staying. I think it was Arizona. I think he was in Arizona at the time. And my dad's mom, so my grandma, she's not alive anymore, but she was not for this marriage. Like she was just like, this is not going to work. She's going to miss her home. Like she's going to get homesick. Like, she's never been out of the country. So she was totally against it. And I think she was even setting my dad up with other girls while my mom was there. So I was like, oh gosh, that would be horrible. But she stuck it out, and I think they both flew back to Japan, got married in the sorry, Christmas Day. Got married in the Tokyo Temple. Yeah, there's a picture of them in front of the Tokyo Temple, and then her parents were outside. They couldn't go in because they weren't Mormon. But
Oh, that's nice.
I know,
So you didn't get to go
right?
to your daughter's wedding.
See
Oh, no, I get it.
yeah, yeah. See
Okay.
your first daughter get married, and you can't even see the ceremony, but you can take a picture outside
Yeah,
the
because
church.
that's what
But
matters.
yeah, exactly. And so, and then yeah, the rest was history. They moved back to the States. I think I was born like, gosh, like maybe 6 months after they got married or something like that. And
Way preemie. Way
yeah,
preemie.
what was that? So almost a honeymoon baby, but not quite. And
Well, it was their honeymoon. They just weren't married yet.
I know, right? Yes, yes. Actually, I don't even think yeah, I think their honeymoon was getting married in Japan.
Oh,
And then sightseeing or something after. But
but
yeah,
still, all in all,
I
a
know, it was
romantic
romantic.
story. I mean,
It
sincerely,
was,
except for the, grandparents on the mother's
the,
side aren't allowed or welcome. Other than
I
that,
know,
you
I
know,
know.
okay.
Yeah. You're like, other than that part.
But
So
you
it was
can
a good
gloss over
story.
that a little bit. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, we won't talk about that part. But I always thought, like way back when too. I mean, I still think it's a cool story, but I was always like proud, like, oh, he taught her, baptized her, and all that stuff. But um, yeah, we lived in, let's see. Yeah, we lived in Arizona because that's where my grandparents were still living there.
And they were
And
his parents, and they were
yeah,
in
his
the
parents.
Mormon religion, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, I
Mhm.
figured. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just
they were
clarifying.
very
That's all.
into it. I know. No, I'm glad you cuz yeah, please tell me if because of course I know the story, so I
Right.
don't know what, you know, people
So you're
are
saying very
believing.
into it because I mean, obviously everybody
Mhm.
knows this. There are different
Mhm.
levels to how involved in your religion that you are, especially ones that are completely immersive, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
you
yeah.
have the ones who are absolutely like there is no exception to the rules,
Oh,
like
yeah.
absolutely
Die Hard.
strict, die hard,
Mhm.
But then you have ones
Mhm.
that are like, this is what I believe in, but I'm okay if
Mhm.
you don't. And then there's the ones who's like, if you don't, you are nobody, you are nothing, you mean nothing, you
Yep.
know. So there are
Yep.
different. Obviously, there's different levels on the spectrum of like how involved people are and how, and it
Mhm.
matters. And the reason I'm saying this is it matters to your story because
Yeah.
how involved people are kind of reflects directly on the ending, right?
Mhm.
On how that turns out.
Yeah.
So
I could see that.
yeah,
Yeah. They also have I just learned of a new one. It's called the Cafeteria Mormon, where I guess they pick and choose what they like from the church and just do that. But,
like
they
Christians
still
that
have
go to church on like holidays
yeah.
and
Yeah.
weekends and like
Yeah.
act like a crazy person otherwise.
Yeah.
That's
In
called cafeteria. I call it
their
like
other yeah, so funny. Like, yeah, what I was like, "Okay, I never heard of that before." But yeah, they have problems with some other stuff, but then they like to do, the other stuff, but they still call themselves Mormon. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a little weird. But um so yeah, I was born and then since my grandparents were there, we were there a lot. And like Sunday dinners, we were always there every Sunday. And I don't think my mom worked. So my dad, oh, he was going to school at the time. That's right. So he was going to school, and my mom would just like, you know, stay home with me, take me to my grandparents' house. She didn't really know as much English, so that was a little hard. I actually spoke Japanese until I was like 5, but um, but
I mean
yeah.
that's pretty
So
normal,
yeah,
especially with
yeah,
and like
hmm
I've told people I knew your mom at the time that we were young,
yeah.
so she gave me
That's
piano
right.
lessons.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so I know
played.
your mom. I know your brothers.
That's right.
I met
See,
all of them at the time. Well, the ones that were around when I was
the
there.
ones that were around.
Right.
Yeah, I think maybe. Ooh,
And she gave me
I'm trying to
Japanese
think.
tea, and by the way, that's the reason I hate tea. It was horrible.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
was
like,
it?
brew tea is the
Oh,
worst.
do you remember the name of it? Probably not.
It
Was
was
it?
that was the name.
Oh, I'm trying to remember what it would be, but yeah,
She's like,
that is
here's
hilarious.
tea. I'm like,
I know. You're like, I'm just gonna throw it on the side over here. Um, that's hilarious.
Gabby,
Um,
I think she's saying that there are. I want to clarify and say that from what I know,
mhm.
90% of everyone in the Mormon faith is serious conviction in their faith. They have,
Oh.
for lack of a better way to put this, they have drunk that Kool-Aid and they want more.
Mhm.
They are
Oh yeah.
all in, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
my personal opinion
Yeah.
is it has a lot to do with the fact that you have a specific set of rules, and if you follow to the letter, you will
Mhm.
go to the heaven that they have talked about. Right? That's it. Like that's
Mhm.
what you need to do. And they are
Mhm.
all in. Now there's that 10%, which are the people who are like, I really like where this is going, but I'm
Mhm.
going to kind of do me too, and that's a very small percentage. Now,
Yeah.
he's
That's
comparing it
true.
to Catholicism. I got that word
Mhm.
right. I know I
Wow.
did.
Yeah. That's a hard word.
Catholicism, which is absolutely notorious for I mean not I'm not talking crap on anybody's religion. If you're Catholic, if you're Christian, if you're
Oh.
Mormon, just be you,
Yeah.
be what you want. Like I'm not going
Yep.
to say either way,
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm not
If
going
it
to judge
works for
anybody for
you.
that. But
Oh
in
yeah.
my personal opinion, when you are
Mhm.
able to do whatever because you can always, say Hail Marys and get away with it later, like to me that's just not the best practice. You should not do it in the first place. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the flip
Yeah.
side, like
Uh,
to almost every single religion has
mhm.
its ups and downs and things you might or might not
That's true.
like. So I
That's
was
true.
just clarifying because of what he said. Um,
Uh,
a
Yes.
lot of people don't have conviction in their religion, no matter what it is,
Mhm.
and they kind of try to sneak around the rules.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah,
Sadly,
there's no
everybody's
religion
percentage
that.
is increasing. Everyone's
Oh yeah.
percentage is
Yeah.
increasing because it's no longer cool or in
Mhm.
anyone's self interest in the
Yeah.
current moment to follow the rules, right?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
more about indulging yourself nowadays,
Yep.
and they're not thinking long term. Anyway, I
Mhm.
digress.
No, yeah. I think for them, like, and I think kind of Christians too, they feel like if they're good in this life, it's going to be even better, like in the next life, So, um, yeah, my dad just kind of recently basically was like almost saying that he's unhappy now, but he's waiting till he's happy back, in the afterlife. I'm like, gosh, well, I want to be happy now. Like, I don't want to wait till, I'm dead to be happy.
Right.
So yeah, that I thought that was a little weird, um, but I'm trying to think what my train of thought here.
So
Um,
so your parents, they were
mhm,
married. You were born.
mhm,
You guys
yep,
were in like Arizona.
yep,
You were around your grandparents all the time.
yep, exactly. And then I'm not gonna go through like my whole childhood,
The
but
next
just like
day,
I'm like, and then
in
the next
April,
day
in
I
May,
did this.
1987.
Exactly, exactly. But eventually I have four younger brothers. So it was me and then four boys. Um, the youngest brother is 15 years younger than me. And they're all Mormon. Their spouses are all Mormon, except my oldest, the oldest of my brothers, she is Christian. She's Christian, but she is very religious. So it's basically like she's Mormon, I guess. So they're all religious, and I'm the only one that's not. But we'll get to the part where when I left. Um, but yeah, is this backstory like kind of helping? I don't know. Is
Well, it
it just
matters
like a
because the thing is
okay?
that I don't.
I'm like,
I think my intention of you having the backstory is the fact that
mm-hmm,
you, for example, your mother was not raised in it. This was
mm-hmm,
something new, and
yep,
none of her family came along with it, right?
mm-hmm,
So, like
mm-hmm,
when you would go visit Japan,
mm-hmm,
they weren't there for that. Like
mm-hmm.
that wasn't their thing, and I'm sure that they were different. Especially because they were what, Buddhist. You said
Yeah,
so. That's a
yeah.
completely different spectrum,
Oh, yeah,
right? A completely different
exactly.
spectrum. And so,
Mm-hmm.
and then you grew up immersed in the religion. So it wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
you chose it or
Yeah, I didn't
they
know any better.
you
Yeah.
didn't know anything different. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to say this and I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Being
Mm-hmm.
raised with four male siblings
Mm-hmm.
matters in the Mormon church. Your gender matters a lot.
I guess, yeah, I do have to say, I didn't really notice it when I was young, but like when I kind of got older, I was like, oh gosh, like the guys get, I don't know, like what's the word, more respected, I guess. In they have more like powers. I know that sounds weird, but
From
they, yeah,
from what
like,
I researched, what I learned, and I like you would know. So this is, and by the way, guys, this is her experience, and this might not be everybody's experience. This might not be, and it's
right,
unique to her. So that's
right.
what I'm here for. But like with my commentary is just out of a complete non-knowing research based,
No, I like
curiosity
that.
side.
And
So,
everyone's probably thinking, what you're thinking. So,
and
yeah.
honestly, like the males tend to be they're the head of the family, right?
Yeah.
They get all rights and purposes as the head of the family. The
Mhm.
females, they have a role in the family. And
Mhm.
the role is to be like the caregiver, the mother, that
Mhm.
type of role. And they have a
Yeah.
major separation inside the church between male and female.
Yeah, there definitely can be. I mean, the church, well, now it's 2 hours, but it used to be 3 hours when I would go. Yeah, I know. And just think of little kids. Yeah, it's not fun. And so like the first hour, everyone was together. It was kind of like like mass for like you know how they call it in the other religion. We called it sacrament, or it was called sacrament. And so that was like an hour. Then the second hour, the kids would go to like their, Sunday school thing. They had teachers and stuff for that. And then all the other people it was almost like maybe a classroom setting. Like it was kind of like what do they called it Sunday school, but there was like a teacher,
right,
and he would teach a lesson and stuff. And then the third hour, the girls and the boys would separate. And it sounds so weird, like talking about it now, like hearing it. But yeah, the girls, they would have their girl lessons, I guess. And then the guys would, go to their part. But and then, after church was done, we went go pick up the kids. They had a nursery for the like little kids. And we would go pick them up and go home. But it was almost like, that whole Sunday was like dedicated to church, We couldn't go to stores. You couldn't go out to eat. They basically didn't want you to spend money that day or like make someone work, basically, I guess.
Okay.
So
it's like seventh day he rested type.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was fine, but
a lot of religions, a lot of different religions do that in some way, shape, or form. So you have, for example, now I'm gonna get this completely wrong, y'all, and y'all can correct me in the comments, and that's fine. Just don't come at me. I mean, feel free. If you want to come at me, come at me. I don't care. I'm pretty sure that like the Jewish faith is a Saturday. Saturday is their day. A lot of religions, like I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's Jehovah's Witness or Christian. What is the one that is like they don't want any kind of like transfusions and stuff?
Oh gosh,
not Scientology, but Christian Scientists or something like that. I think they have a day, but there's a lot of different religions that take a specific day once a week, and you don't.
Yeah.
You literally like some of them. You can't even turn on the lights. You can't use any electronics. Wow. You can't. Yeah, I'm completely serious. Man. So it's not completely far off.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
No, like just on that one day.
Yes.
Amish is every day. There's no electricity.
Oh, is that every day?
Amish is every day.
That makes sense. I know that is true. They don't just like magically have a TV the next day. Yeah. They there was some families that would even go to the extreme of you would have to stay in your Sunday clothes like all day, and that would have been horrible. Luckily we didn't have to do that, but the girls couldn't wear pants. You had to wear a dress,
right?
When you went to church. The guys I guess they could wear khakis, but it basically couldn't be jeans. So
it's not casual.
Button up,
I mean, technically, what Sunday clothes were. Yeah. Growing up. Nowadays, it's like, come as you are because they want people to come. But
I know.
Growing up, we always dressed up. Like, we dressed up too.
Yeah. I would feel weird, I don't know. I would feel weird, going to church and not being dressed up, but that's just what I was used to.
No, I get that completely.
Yeah. Yeah. And all these, the women were just, they looked like they were in, a J. Crew magazine. They were just so, no wrinkle in their shirt. No, their kids looked perfect, It was just so having that that everything is perfect on the outside, you want, to let people know that you are, you're perfect on the outside because of course they can't see what's going on inside. Right. And so,
does it matter? There my mom goes, Stepford Wives. Yeah.
Yep.
You have to put your best face forward on, when you're around everyone else. You don't want to be that one that your kids are unruly and not behaving or wrinkled and weird or have stains on their shirts. You don't want to be that one because,
Yeah,
I get it.
because people talk about that. I mean, my parents talked about some of the families that were, different,
Right.
and talking about them, behind their back. But um, yeah, it's just
But it was normal. That's what you grew up with.
yeah,
And it's
that's
neither
all I
here nor there
knew.
because I'm
Yeah.
just going to put this out there. As a kid,
Hmm.
kids should, I don't care what anyone says, kids should be
Hmm.
raised by their family and their community.
Hmm.
And then at some point of anybody's life, they are an adult and they're capable of making a decision if they're like, this doesn't feel right, and they can go from there. But they should
Oh yeah.
definitely learn their moral values from their family. That is the family's responsibility. And
Hmm.
so, you grew up
Hmm.
with it, and that's just how your life was.
Yeah.
I saw it
Yeah.
because just of the few things, it wasn't a lot, but
Hmm.
we were best.
Hmm.
I mean, you guys, you would
Oh
get it. Best friends.
yeah, we were
Like, we
besties.
cried if we weren't in class together. It was a thing.
Did we
We
have the
got
necklaces?
Yeah, we did. And we
The
got
heart.
they kept separating our desks because we would talk too much.
Mm. Oh
And we
man.
got so mad. It was like,
Can't separate. Yeah.
remember tetherball,
Nope.
Rossiter rules? Like, I mean, come on.
Oh my gosh, that scared me. The tether, like the boys would just like hit it so hard.
I know I played tetherball. I kicked
But
ass. But
oh
no,
man, you were braver than I
yeah.
was.
Well, but the point
Uh,
the point
yeah.
being is that you were immersed in it, grew up in it. And so at no point in
Hmm.
time was it your choice. That just is how your life was. And
Yeah, that's just
you
what it
wouldn't
was.
have known any different. And so this is
Mhm.
something that I think my kids don't understand is
Mhm.
that they're like, "Oh, well, like for example, I don't celebrate Christmas in the traditional way. I don't
Uh
do
huh.
like gifts and stuff. I think that the, gimme on Christmas.
Uh.
I don't like that. We do New Year's.
Right.
Okay, so we do New
Oh,
Year, new stuff. We
I
don't
like
give gifts
that.
on Christmas. We do it on New
Ah.
Year's, you know?
Ooh, I like that. That's
And
really
so,
cool.
yeah, most people do. It's weird how,
Yeah.
plus you get all the sales. Like, come on.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but
Duh. Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
not traditional in any sense of the word, whatever traditional means to
I
people,
know. Yeah. What
right?
does it really mean? Yeah. Exactly.
But they're like, oh
True.
well, everybody celebrates Santa. No, they don't. They go
Yeah.
to school
Not
with people
everybody.
that are there's a lot of like Vietnamese and Korean and
Oh yeah.
Asian influence like in this area. I'm in Houston, so in this
Oh
area,
okay.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
people like with African descent. I'm not talking about like I'm talking like literally their parents are from Kenya. Like they came
Yes.
over like 6 days ago.
Yes.
So they still have other religions. There's people that are Hindu, Buddhist, a
Hmm.
whole bunch of other stuff,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. They're
So
doing their own thing on
right, and they're
Christmas.
just
Yeah.
smiling and nodding, but they're not.
Yeah.
That's their life. They're like, oh well, why don't we do? No, not everybody does that. That's not
Yeah.
everybody, and it's
I
just funny
know.
because
They
they
don't have
assume.
to. I know. I hate the assumptions. Yeah.
Like they don't understand that
Exactly.
there are people that are like Jehovah's Witnesses that can't go to a birthday party,
I
or they
know.
have to sit on the other side of the room during a classroom birthday party because they're not allowed to participate, and they just sit
Oh,
there and take it because that's their life.
that just breaks my heart because it's like they don't know any better. It's like they were just born into that. But
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
what's up, Stacy? I see you. I appreciate you, and
Hmm.
Dorinda. I appreciate you guys being here. Everybody that's here, Brody, I see you as
Hmm.
well. Everyone that is in here right now, I appreciate. This one's gonna get heavy. This one's
You
really
guys are
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
I
Just,
am
ooh,
so stoked for this, and this is
just you
gonna go
wait.
on for a while. So I
Hmm.
hope y'all are
Hmm.
enjoying it and stay tuned in.
Hmm.
Ask any questions. I'm gonna try and catch them,
Yeah.
and my mods are gonna try and catch them too. I mean,
Hmm.
um, of course, I'm not checking
Yeah.
like my DMs right now, so that doesn't really help.
Oh, yeah, it could be hard to like, yeah,
But
be
definitely,
looking
if
at
you have
that.
any questions, keep them in mind. And so when we get
Yeah.
to a point, if you have something, just try and catch my attention, or tell the mod, and
Hmm.
the mod can hey, jump up and
Hmm.
down. But so you were immersed in it as kids. You see now that some of the stuff that was going on wasn't something that everybody understood because you knew because that's all you knew. Like
Yeah.
you didn't have caffeine. There were things you weren't allowed to do. I was like, can we please hang out
Yeah.
on Sunday? And as a
I
kid, I never
know.
realized it was a Sunday. I just was like, I'm
Yeah.
not on school today. Let's hang out.
I know.
So I
We
wasn't
couldn't hang out.
really
I know. Yeah. I know. It was a weird thing. But yeah, Sunday was a very sacred day.
mhm.
Um, and then I'm trying to think I'm like trying to kind of like gradually, get up to like um
However you need to do it. Whatever
the
you
more
want to
heavy
mention,
stuff.
mention it. We're
I don't
here
know.
for it. I know that the people in the chat are invested. I know I am. If
Yeah,
they're not,
I know.
I am.
Right?
So let's do this.
I like your questions too, Kat. Like, yeah, because you're probably like thinking what other people are thinking, so that's good. But yeah, I just always in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I need to be perfect. I don't want to disappoint my parents. I just want to do everything right. That was just always my goal for the day.
Well, and also
And
the fact
yeah,
that your mother. I just want to put this out there.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
tell me if I'm wrong.
Please.
If you guys didn't catch it, her mother is Japanese. She's from Japan.
Oh,
There's a
yes.
whole not on
She's a
top of the
convert.
fact that you were in the Mormon religion. You had the Japanese culture and the
Yeah.
expectations
Ah.
of a Japanese mother,
Mhm.
which is
The tiger mom, they call
Yeah.
it.
basically like you will
Yeah. Oh
do
yeah.
this. You will do that, and you will do it perfectly and amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just add that dynamic into it.
Yep.
Because I never
'Cause they
saw.
were
I
like that.
never saw your dad. I always saw your. Well, I took piano lessons from her until I couldn't anymore. But
Ah.
I never
Oh
really
yeah, he
saw
was
your dad.
working, I think.
Yeah.
He just worked a lot. That's what I remember.
But I'm just saying that's another
Yeah.
dynamic to it that people might not know.
Yeah. Yeah. The are you talking about the just like not seeing the dad as much kind of type of thing?
No, more like that your
Or
mom
like
was like up your ass and around the corner.
Oh, yeah. Around the corner.
I mean, I
Yeah.
loved her to pieces, but the thing was,
Oh.
is like, I'm just saying that's a dynamic
Mhm.
that you had growing up
Yep.
on top of this other you have all these
Oh.
expectations
Yeah, so much
as a Mormon,
expectations.
and
Oh
then
my
you have
gosh.
expectations by a very domineering parent figure
Yep.
because
Yep.
Asian mothers,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Her
they
mom
don't
was
play around.
horrible too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so I mean, I guess the transition into Mormonism was probably easy for her because it was like, she was used to I don't know, kind of that structure, I guess, in a
Right.
way. The cooking, the cleaning, kind of doing that too. But yeah, she could be pretty strict. She looks, but she is pretty strict. And yeah, I think my dad just like worked, and I feel like he never changed a diaper. I never saw him change a diaper. And I think he just kind of thought like, okay, I'm making all the money, so I don't need to do anything else. Like, this,
He
you have a
fulfilled his
house,
role.
that's because of me, or like
No, he
he's just
fulfilled
like,
his role, is what he did.
yep,
I mean, because I
mhm,
mean, from everything I've seen, there are set roles.
yeah, yeah,
And his role was to
exactly,
provide, and he provided, and that was that.
yep, yep, exactly. And we kind of joke that he like still lives in the 50s because it's like the guy gets home from work and then the wife has dinner ready on the table, and the house is super clean and all that. But yeah, it was just, that's just all I knew. I was like, okay, I need to like make sure I cook and clean. That's going to be me someday, when I get
Right.
married, I guess. And so fast forward to like teenage years. I think because I put so much pressure on me to be perfect, it just made me so, I don't know what it is, like so not confident, I guess, in a way. Because I was just like, I'm never going to be that way. So like, I'm already like, not good enough.
I was gonna say, did you feel
And
like you were never gonna be good enough because every
yeah.
time you met an expectation, it rose?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
by the way, y'all,
Yeah.
she's an amazing artist,
Oh, I forgot that.
and I still have
What?
that. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's framed and it says best friend. I have it. It's outside of my. It's actually in my, with all of my like keepsakes that I've dragged everywhere that I've ever moved and I would never leave behind. It's in
Oh
there.
my gosh.
It's not hung up, but I
Oh.
have it. I
I
would
feel like
never
you're gonna
throw it
make me
away.
cry.
And she's an amazing
Oh my
piano player.
gosh.
Obviously, your mom was a piano teacher. Of course, you could play piano.
I haven't played it forever.
Well,
but
I mean, but you still could. Like you
maybe
were.
maybe it'll come back to me
But like
someday.
everything you
Yes.
did great. You were a great student. You were an artist. You were a musician. So, and this was like when
Mhm.
we were in third grade. Like I knew all this at the time.
Mhm.
And see, I went
Yeah.
to school and then I would go to another school and then I would come back and then I would go to another school and come back. So, but every
That is
time we
too
were still
funny.
there.
Oh my gosh, I know. You would be gone for like a year or so, and then I'm like, "Oh no, I don't think I could live without, her there." And then you would just like show up all of a sudden.
And I would request
It's
to be
like,
in your
"Oh my
class.
gosh." Yes. Oh gosh.
No, but
That
so
is
he
too
would
funny.
come
I love
home, he
that.
would put his feet up, he would
Yep.
smoke a cigar and read the news. Well, he wouldn't smoke a cigar, but he would read the
Well,
newspaper
it
with
was
his slippers and I'm
yep.
painting a picture here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then she of course
So
would,
leave it to Beaver.
make dinner,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
take care of the kids and he would just
Mhm.
live his best life in the evening
Yep.
because that his role was completed. He provided.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
I get
yeah.
that.
Exactly.
So in your teen years you're
Yeah.
saying that you had a lot of insecurities because you felt like it wasn't ever really good enough or
Yeah, gosh. Like
which is
even
crazy
when
because you were
I
like the coolest person I'd ever met. You were so
oh,
talented. I'm like, I have no
you're
talent.
too kind. Oh my gosh, I just was so you know what? I think when it all hit was when I moved from Kansas in 7th grade, and I moved to Colorado. I think it was even in the middle of 7th grade, which 7th grade already sucks, and then having to move in the middle of 7th grade. Um, yeah, I think that's where it all began. Like I just felt like
I remember you moved to
just
Colorado. I
oh
heard about that, and I was like,
yes,
oh
I
no.
know. And I had so many like I loved all the people at I can't even remember the name of the junior high in Kansas, but
I know what it was.
I actually felt you do
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe. Okay, yes.
Santa Fe
And I
Trails. Yeah,
actually
I know.
felt comfortable there. Like I really liked everybody there. And then I had to be taken away and just moved to this whole new place. I didn't know anybody and already feeling awkward. Um so yeah, I moved to 7th grade and or in 7th grade. And yeah, it was just I'm trying to think all through let's see, so 7th and 8th. Well, I think everybody has a horrible experience in 7th and 8th grade, right? That's just a horrible time. Um, and then high school. So basically, all my friends were people that were in my church. So um, yeah, I guess that's weird. We did kind of like all hang out with each other.
Well, if you
Like,
think about it, you
yeah,
transplanted to a new
uh,
area, and so the
yeah,
first connections you would have made would have been at church because you were going to be at
yep,
church, and
mhm.
so that
They
would have been
have,
10
yep,
times easier than making friends outside of church,
yep,
which is
yep,
never fun anyway. Which is just like a
exactly.
stupid thing that people have to do is make friends because teenagers suck. They're
Ugh,
horrible.
they're the worst.
Middle schoolers are evil.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so
They, oh,
by making friends
seriously.
at church, that was an easier
Mhm.
transition. So of course you would have probably leaned into those relationships over the ones at
Yep.
school because they were kind of a given. You guys all had something
Yeah.
in
We
common. You
all had
spent a
the
lot of time
same
together.
morals.
Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, I kind of gravitated towards them, and then yeah,
Denver savvy.
I didn't really date in high school really, and I basically only had like one really like I guess best friend, because I was just like I was like, oh gosh, like I thunk, overthunk,
Overthought.
over, overthought. I didn't say that. Okay. And I was just like, oh gosh, like whatever I say, I'm gonna say the bet. I'm not gonna say the right thing. Like people are gonna think I'm stupid, or. So I just really kept myself a lot and just hung out with that really good friend, all through high school. And boys just like scared me. I mean, I wouldn't have even known the first word to say, to a boy. And
But it wasn't
yeah, I never.
encouraged though, was it?
Um,
Like
I
it
mean,
wasn't I wouldn't think it would be encouraged to date outside the faith.
yeah, they didn't really want you to date until you were like 16. It was more, I don't know, I guess it was like frowned upon, dating under 16.
They weren't going to
And,
beat you,
and
but, they would give you
oh,
the
yeah.
side eye, like,
Yep. Just knowing the disappointment, which was like the worst thing, And so, yeah, and they wanted us to date other Mormons. And, but I never went to any prom. I never went to any dance. I was just like,
you and me both.
I'm just not good enough. And of course, my husband, he went to like, I don't even know, more than 4 proms. Like he was just way more outgoing and everything. But we didn't know each other back then.
Hey,
but
Jess, write that window.
Our high schools were just like maybe 5 miles apart, but we didn't know each other. And so after high school, I started dating more. I moved out of my parents' house and I lived with 2 other girls, Mormon girls. And yeah, I'm trying to think what happened that I started to kind of get a little more confident, I was like, okay, I'm out of my
college?
parents' house. No. So
Okay.
I went to beauty school.
Okay.
And what was that? For like a year and a half. And then I started working at like a chain, like Great Clips,
Right.
something like that. And so I think I was working at Great Clips while I was living with the 2 other girls. And yeah, they have so the church, from when you're 18 to 30, I think that's right. They have they call it a singles ward. And so you go there, and then every like Wednesday they had a activity that all the singles would go to, and then you can meet, that's kind of where you would meet people. And that part was actually really fun. I liked going there. But yeah, I'm just gonna say Mormon boys are horrible. You think that they're all nice and respectful, but
I don't
no.
know any Mormon boys.
Dude, okay.
Like I really don't.
They seem sweet, but
well, they're supposed to be, right?
I know. I guess they're supposed to be, but
I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually kind of thought the opposite, because
really?
Well, I mean, have you ever seen the show Big Love? They're
I
kind of mean.
haven't.
Okay.
I've actually been wanting to watch that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was a really cool show, but it was like it was the super extreme side of LDS, right?
It's
like
probably
polygamy and living back in like old times type dress, and 12-year-olds marrying 60-year-old type stuff, and multiple wives, and like the dynamics between them. It was a really good show as far as I thought it was.
I heard like really
Plus,
good
it was
things
shocking.
about it.
I was like, all the time I was like,
oh no.
I mean, seriously,
that is hilarious.
Anyone that knows me know I'm here for the shock value. I'm here for that. So,
no, yeah. I mean,
you want to get crazy?
That's always exciting.
Do some stuff that's a little bit taboo. I'm here to read it. Like, we'll go.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that show. I've been wanting to watch that. But yeah, and to kind of go back into that too, I don't know. Have you heard of Joseph Smith?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the prophet.
So yes, he was like the first prophet, or the guy who found.
Shout out, Big Love. Thank you.
Yeah, Big Love. And yeah, he found the Mormon Church. But I don't even know where it started. Polygamy. I think he just wanted to be with multiple women. I think that's just to it. I don't know.
Well,
but of course they don't talk about that part.
So here's something, and you can answer this if you want to or not, but this is just an observation put together from watching TV, which we all know is so true and factual. Right? And going down the extreme rabbit holes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it hasn't been recently. It's just in general.
Yeah,
something about the whole like polygamy had to do with the more having children is big in the Mormon community.
Oh, yeah.
Having a lot of children is big. And so it
Yeah.
literally, the more children you have, it ties into the end game, like the afterlife.
Mm.
So if you have more children, you do better in the afterlife. And the men specifically benefit in the afterlife. Women get to be with their man, but the man gets to be in charge of his own stuff, right? So he is the
I think
center
so.
of his own
Yeah.
universe in the afterlife. The women that, they get to come with him if they're worthy. And then I would love to know how it works that the man, and I'm not going to say what it is, you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to say where they end up, like exactly like what specific body of celestial body they end up on or own or
Oh,
run. We're not
which
going to go there.
planet?
Yeah, they're on
Which
a little planet. So they
they're
run
on the
their
little planet.
planet. They bring the women, if one or whoever, if the women are worthy, right? Because the men, their deeds
I
and
know,
their
right?
amount of children they have to procreate the earth is what qualifies them. Okay,
Yeah.
this is my observation, and then
No, you might know more than that about me, or than I do.
well, so
So,
then the thing is that here's what I want to know. So it's going to be populated. You own your own planet. Like, good for you. You populate it with all of your children, your children's children. But then what about your boys? Or don't they have their own planet? So are they going to like co-sign your planet with you?
yeah.
Or do they get their own and you visit on holidays? Like, I don't know how that
Yeah.
works. That
I
always
know.
confused me a little bit. But so
Yeah.
my point is that supposedly, since children were the number one priority to basically, you want to expand the religion, you want to expand your reach.
Yeah.
You have as many children to bring up into the faith to
And spread
move
it.
it forward and spread it around. So even if people aren't coming in from the outside, you got to expand your gene pool inside. Like, this is going to happen. So
Yeah.
taking multiple wives, I mean, they would have just, bing, bing, bing. They would just pop off kids. Boom, 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 boom. Some of them had a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and it was funny because, Joseph Smith, these guys would go on missions. Like, he would send them like, oh, you need to go here to go on a mission. And then he would marry their wife. Like I was like, wait,
And they would
wait
let
a second.
him. No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They couldn't
Because
say
that
no
was an honor.
to him. Oh, yeah.
It was an honor.
Like,
here you go.
yeah. Yeah. Here,
The prophet
okay.
chose you, honey.
Yep. Whatever he says goes,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they could be 14, they could be 20. Yeah. So, and he actually had a wife, like an actual wife too, at the beginning. And then all of a sudden, all these other wives started coming. And I don't think I don't know exactly how many he had, but I know his original, the OG wife, she was not really happy about it. So, but you can't say, to especially a guy that holds they call it the priesthood. All the guys would hold the priesthood. And yeah, she couldn't question that. So, gosh, I'm like, that would just be horrible. But yeah, people just idolize him though. I don't know how, but.
I mean, just think of it this way. When you believe that someone is the incarnation of everything that matters in your world, the reason I liken it to a cult dynamic is because what you do is you immerse people into the religion. You cut them out from the outside, and you base a lot of your practices on like separating any outside influence. About everything they do has to be approved by the church and their peers. Okay?
Yeah.
So you literally make it so that they can't do anything and maintain their standing without getting the approval of the people who make the decisions. And you make sure the people that make the decisions are they're going to do it the way that works out best for the people involved. Not people, not the little people, the people in charge. Okay?
Right.
And you
like
cut off outside influences. And one of the big things about, like, for example, for cults in general, they tend to, I don't know the word, um, destroy anyone that leaves or speaks against them.
Oh yeah.
That's a
Oh
huge
yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, they don't like people that that were,
so you
you know,
get people to
LDS
be
and then leave.
scared. People are
Yeah.
scared to go against the status quo. They don't want
Oh
to
yeah.
bust out because they're afraid of losing everything. There's all of these different things. That is part of getting somebody
Oh yeah.
to be completely immersed and cutting them off. It's the same way
Mhm.
abusive relationships happen.
Oh
It's the same
yeah.
way that, abusive marriages and abusive relationships happen, whether it be
Yeah.
whichever side that their people are on. They cut off their friends and family. They get them completely involved in that relationship that is they're
Mhm.
completely dependent on it for approval and for
Mhm.
permission. And
Oh
once they
yeah.
do that, they make it really hard for them to get out. Because number one, they
Mhm.
don't have the resources, and number two, they're not used to doing those things on their own. And how do you explain to someone that you put up with this for so long? I was in the middle of that. So,
Mhm.
like I said, this is
Exactly.
just my opinion and
Exactly.
observation from what I've seen,
Oh
heard.
yeah. Yeah. I like to hear that stuff because yeah, I didn't know any different.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, exactly. Um, and let's see. I was like, what was I thinking about? Or going to
Well,
say.
you were in college, and you said you kind of started getting
Yeah,
confidence back, and then
yeah,
they had single stuff, and you really like doing that.
yes, yes.
I mean, it sounds
That
fun.
was
I would
fun.
love to go to a singles thing that didn't involve needy, creepy Tindermen.
Tinderbed. I guess they didn't have Tinderbed
No, they
at that
didn't, but
point.
they shouldn't have Tinder now. Tinder keeps yelling at me.
Oh,
Keeps telling me that you're never going to find someone if you don't jump on. Well,
oh gosh,
I'm good.
they're
Thanks.
mean.
Yeah,
Tinder's
they're
mean.
mean.
Oh my gosh, jeez.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Um, and yeah, but like I said, oh yeah, I was talking about how horrible Mormon guys were.
Yeah, they're not very
Um,
nice, you said. They're not sweet. You'd think they would be, but they're not.
mhm.
Have you
Yeah,
talked
I
to your
had.
husband about how they were talked to in the church, if that was different? Because I
Oh,
know a big thing with
oh,
the shows and stuff is they always
yeah.
told the women to be sweet.
Oh,
Sit down,
mhm.
shut up, do what you're told. It's being sweet. That's how you can worship.
And obey the
That's how
sweet.
you
What
can
was that?
praise God. That's
Sweet
how you
pray.
can, do what you're supposed to. I doubt that's what they
Mhm.
were telling the boys.
I know, right? Yeah. What were they talking about with that? um. Well, yeah, I had. There was a guy that broke up with me because I wasn't. He said I wasn't spiritual enough. So I was like, okay, I don't really know what that means, um, but then he told people that I wouldn't let him hang out with his friends, which that never happened. So it was just a little odd.
Is it spiritual
So
to lie?
I know, right?
Hypocrite
Yeah.
much?
And the funny thing is that Chris, my current husband, he was friends with him, so
Oh,
he thought I was crazy all this time because that I'm not going to say names, but that guy
you know who
was
you are.
telling people, you know,
He knows who he
and I don't think he's Mormon still. So,
is.
yeah, um, and so yeah, I don't know if he was just trying to make other guys not go out. I don't know, but apparently my husband thought I was crazy and that I wasn't going to let him hang out with his friends. But and later on, he found out that was not the case. Um,
Or maybe he liked it. I
but
don't know.
what is?
Maybe he liked the crazy.
Well, yeah, we might have to have him on later too and see what he thought about all that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to hear all the dating stories, um, but should I get into when I met Chris?
Sure.
Maybe.
This is your story, honey. You go any which way you want.
I'm like, oh gosh, like I don't know what's like, nonsense, information or like what the people want to hear. But yeah.
If it's important to
Um,
you and you think that it's relevant to your journey, your story, then it's relevant
mhm.
to us.
Okay. Perfect.
So,
Well, I guess this ties in with the singles board because I did meet Chris there. I was actually friends with his sister first. And what was it? Yeah, I would go over to their house and yeah, I was like secretly like, oh, is Chris here? Like, that's not the only reason why I'm here, but is he here? And so yeah, sometimes we would like he would kill a spider for us or whatever.
Okay,
And
right there, he gets all the points. I hate spiders. I hate them.
yay! Yeah, I do
You
not.
kill a bug for me, like we're
Oh,
set. That's
yeah,
it.
we're getting married.
I'm at least gonna give you a date, like or something.
That's true. That's true. And so yeah, we would kind of flirt and stuff when I would go over there. Um, and what was it? I think one day somehow he got my number. We were because we went to like the same parties because they were in the same singles ward. So he somehow got my number, and then we were kind of texting back and forth. And then I remember one night I was like, oh, I was living by myself at this time, and I was like, Chris, do you want to come over to my place? And this is the risque Mormon. This is as risque as it gets. I know. Oh gosh, it's crazy, but yeah. And the funny thing is, his brother. Okay, so Chris has three sisters and a brother, and his brother is like one of the younger. I'm trying to think how many years apart they are. Maybe like 5. And his brother was going through the temple for the first time, and I was I was all texting him that day. He's all trying to be spiritual, and I'm like, "You better come over," like, and being all like, like flirty. So he was like, "That was all I could think about when I was at the temple, like trying to get to your place." And so he was all set up. We were like, okay, come to my place at, I forget what time. And so he was about to leave, and so my friend and his sister, her car was in the way of his car. So he's like, crap. So he went in. We didn't really kind of want her to know that we were
right.
Like gonna hook up, I guess. And he was like, hey, you need to move your car. And she's like, what? Why? It's like, it's kind of late. And he's like, I got to work out. So she's like, okay, this late, like, I don't know. I think it was like 9 or something. And he's like, yeah. And so she moved the car, and then, yeah, he came up to my place, and then
worked out.
We made out the whole night. So.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's so like PG,
But it
for
was
what
you
other
being bad though. You
people?
weren't supposed to be
I know. I
doing
guess
that.
for Mormon standards. And so
now, just to can you expand on that just a tiny little bit?
Yes,
okay,
please do.
So when you say by Mormon standards, like there's no sex before marriage,
right?
There's no.
Oh yeah, I should probably reiterate that.
Being single and like doing hanky panky with anybody.
Right.
Right. Okay, so and the reason I say this is because in my opinion,
all
right, because you're a full-fledged member of the church at this point.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you guys? I want to ask you, and you don't have to answer.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
The underwear. Did you have to wear it?
Oh yes.
Because that's a big deal. Because there's a reason for it. Because it covers things that shouldn't be shown. Blah 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 blah. So there's a reason I'm asking. Is because that was also a guide. That's a guide to what is allowed to.
Yeah. Be seen
or touched or looked at or smooched or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love it. Yes. So some people, they would go to the temple. A lot of people would go to the temple, and they call it get your endowments out. I don't really know what that. Like it's kind of like
you tell me that, I'm gonna be like, okay, I do not have an OnlyFans, and we are not that close. Like,
Oh gosh.
right?
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Chat, tell me what you
Yeah,
think get out your endowments means, please. Feel
I
free.
know. Yeah, it's a weird word, and I still don't even really know what it means. But that was just always what you did the first time you went to the temple, and you go through the rituals and all that. I know people will probably have questions, and I'm okay answering them. What goes on in the temple?
Oh, I am
But
so getting into that later.
I know
That
I
is
was like
all I
that.
ever want to know. That's it.
Yep, yep. And like I said, it's on the internet, so it's not like it's
All right,
it
I'll be
has
right back.
never
I'm
been talked
Googling.
about. Um, and yeah, we have things that we got to put on and everything. But yeah, anyways, um, so a lot of people before they go on their mission,
Mm-hmm.
they do that. They go to the temple for the first time, and then they have to start wearing they called it garments. Um, I waited till I was gonna get married. So
Good for
yeah,
you.
it's either like mission or when you get married, then you do the whole ritual thing. Um, and I'm trying to think. I think I got it done like a week before I got married. Yeah, because some people do it on the same day, and that's just too much. That's just too much in one day. Like doing
Like
that,
going
and
through all
then
the rituals.
yes, and then like get married, like,
Because
and
I would assume it
then
takes
yeah.
hours. Like it's not just like a hi, how are you?
Mhm.
Sign the paper and move on. It's like an actual
No.
like ceremony and rituals and all
Oh yeah.
this other stuff, right? Okay.
Oh yeah. And you have no idea what you're doing. So usually your parents go with you, or you can invite people to go with you. And I guess it's like an honor to be asked to go to one of those like first time things, and you have to answer all these questions to go through the temple. Um, and yeah, I'll talk about that too. I don't
Okay.
know, because every year you have to answer the same questions.
Well, at least you
To,
know you have
you have to go.
you know what the questions are going to be.
That's true. Even though I don't really remember what they were now, but but yeah, I went. Well, let's see. Okay, sorry. Rewind back to when me and Chris were dating. Um, we, of course, when you really like someone, you know, you want to kind of be physical with them.
Right.
Um, but you have that like you can't be, you can't have sex. Like it's just always like in the back of your mind. Um, but there, I would always go over there late at night. We'd be like watching a movie together. And then it's like, you just kind of like feel that, you're like, oh, I just really, I love this person. And, but um, they're like, I feel like we are just both like sexual people. And, um, and so we got, I guess, in trouble a lot. And we had to talk to the bishop about it,
Oh no.
which was very awkward because you had to, well, I'm trying to think what we actually would say,
Well, like, how
but
would you get in trouble? Would
I
someone
know.
report you?
No, I guess it was like like, what is it? Like, if you
A
had honor
self-report,
system type of thing.
and you
Yeah,
honored it?
we did. See,
Okay.
we were too good.
No, good
We
for
were
you.
just
I mean, yeah,
too good.
I'm not
No,
knocking
I
it.
know.
I mean, I was all for the deny, deny, deny. Like that was my go-to. Um,
Oh, we just, uh, yeah, we should have just done it though. Looking back
look,
now, but
hindsight, like,
yeah, in hindsight,
screw it. We should have just
I know.
got it on.
But we just
But you have
yeah,
to do in the
and
time what you feel is right. So I
I
understand
know,
that. But
and
having to
of
face
course,
like a bishop, you think you
yes,
said,
the
or whoever,
bishop,
having to talk to
yes.
them and like tell them, like your intimate details. I just think
I
that's
know, I
kind of
know.
nunya.
That was
Like
yeah, that was not
I'd be
fun.
like I did a thing.
I know, or we're like we messed up. He
Yeah, and just
touched
like
my
leave it at
boob.
that. Like, did you have to describe it? Like, well,
Well, That was another thing that happened because, well, I kind of told this on my stories a while back, but
Right.
like, when me and Chris were getting more serious and, we were gonna get married, um, you had to get interviewed by so there was the bishop and then there's the stake president. He was over the bishop. So he was like well, not the highest, but I mean, prophet is the highest, but stake president was pretty up there. And I had to go to his house and have an interview with him. And he talked about being moral or like, I forget how he worded it. And, I'm like, well, we've had some moments, and that's when I had to go into detail. Like, he wanted to know details. Like, he's like, okay, did he put his hand here? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, do I have to answer this? Like, I just felt really like, I don't know, like dirty, like talking about it with him. And he's like this like 50-year-old man, and I'm having to explain to him like where Chris touched me. And I just wanted to run out of there. Like, I just didn't want to stay there. But I felt like I had to because he was going to decide if we could get married in the temple. And that's a very like if you don't get married in the temple, it's like
You're not married.
it's like a like almost embarrassment, like
It's not
especially to the
acknowledged by the
parents.
church, right?
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
acknowledged by the church. So, as far as
Mhm.
they're concerned, you're not really,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Like,
didn't do right. Like something's wrong with you and you'll carry that forever because they're not going to
yeah.
let you get married outside the church and then come back and get married inside the church.
Well, actually, they do.
They do?
So if you get denied, I guess, to get married in the temple, you have to wait a year, and then you can go get married in the temple
Like you can get
and
married
get
outside the temple
sealed.
and then go back. Oh, seal. I've heard that word. Yeah.
Yes.
Like they're sealing you for eternity is what it is.
Mhm.
They're sealing
Mhm.
you together in marriage for eternity. Like that's
Yes.
it.
Not death do you part or whatever.
No.
Like
Now
like
and
in the afterlife.
in the
Like
afterlife. Like
after
you
after.
can never like you can't go anywhere else. You guys are sealed. You're going to be together forever. And
Yeah.
if you're not sealed, then that's a big deal too.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think. How did they get married? No, I guess they did have the marriage because you have to go to the DMV, right, and get the marriage
The
certificate,
courthouse or whatever. Yeah.
the courthouse.
Get your marriage
Then
license and stuff.
that's right. That's right. Because I was like, wait. So then, were they technically married when they had to wait the year? I don't know. But I know, like, I just didn't want to disappoint my parents, and like,
Right.
I, have to wait a year till I had to get married in the temple. So I was just like, I'm going to answer all his questions. Like, I'll
So you
do
had to tell them
anything.
in detail.
Yeah,
That's
I
icky.
know.
And that can't
I
have
know.
felt good. Like, I mean, was he sitting there like, okay, my child? Or was he like, oh, really?
No, he was very serious.
Okay.
Like,
well,
and
that's
that's
good at
what.
least. That's better than if
Ugh.
somebody was like writing it
Well,
down and like,
well, I don't know what
weird.
he was doing on his paper, but maybe I don't know. I don't know what's going on
documenting
there.
for, Well,
I don't know
I mean,
what he was doing under the table.
that's the
but
worst thing is when they do document it, they put it in their records about you guys.
yes, everything is in a record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They keep records.
that's
I knew
true.
that. They
keep
keep a
records.
file on everybody.
Very
Each
good.
family, each marriage.
Mhm.
Like, if anything you've ever done wrong, they can go back to like, well, in 2018, you did this. And they use it
Exactly.
against you. And they let you accumulate so that they can hold it over you, and then you feel like you have to do more in order to get in their good graces. And then they get a lot of stuff out of that.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. You just feel like you're just always having to do something to be, get up to the
Really smart on their
heaven.
part, by the way.
What is it?
That's really smart on their part.
Oh, I know, right?
Because once
Keep
you're really
record of
invested,
everything.
you want to be on the good side of that.
Right.
And you'll do
Right.
anything. You'll do anything to get their approval because their approval it means your afterlife. If you don't get their approval, you're not going to have a good afterlife. You're going to be, burning in hell forever and ever. Amen. So
Mhm.
you
And
have
it's
to
all up
obtain
to
their
them.
approval because, as far as you know,
Mhm.
their approval is the only thing that will get you into, the afterlife. That's it.
Yeah, this one man.
Right. This
He has
one
all the
person. So
power.
whatever they want,
Yeah.
you're going to
Mhm.
do.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Thank
I
you,
just
Savvy.
was
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
oh gosh, I just need to answer all these questions. And so he approved me. I think he could tell that I really wanted it,
Right.
So I don't know if he did it out of pity or something, but I was able to get married in the temple. But as soon as I left the house and got into my car, I just like started crying because I was just like, oh gosh, that was just so intense,
Right.
and like so like mortifying, like
And
just
frankly,
to
nobody's damn
talk.
business.
I know. I was like, gosh, like who cares? But it was horrible. And I actually talked to some other people. I was like, did you have to do that too? And of course, no, they didn't have to do that. I was like, oh, well, great. That
Plot
was
twist. I didn't know
just
that. That's
me. Mm-hmm. Well, so after my stories, like
Mhm.
I forget when that was, like two month or two ago. This girl that I know, she actually lived in the same neighborhood as this gentleman that interviewed me, and she knew his family and everything. Her dad was like a bishop and everything, so he was very well known too.
right.
And I was like, yeah, he asked me all these questions and stuff, and I'm like, what did you have to do? And she's like, they just asked if I lived the law of chastity and no details or anything. And I was like, oh gosh, it's like I wanted to hear that, but not in the same way, because then I was like, gosh, I felt so stupid, like I was the only, like, why did that happen to me? But,
What's up, JT?
whatever. Yeah. But, um,
But why you?
so
That's just, I mean, that's gotta,
yeah,
be like, well, why me? Why did I
I
have to answer
know. I
this?
was like, oh gosh, like,
Maybe they
ew.
lied like a rug. They might have lied
Mm-hmm.
like a rug, and so he didn't need details because they were like, no,
Yeah, I should have
don't
just
know what
made
you're
up
talking
stuff.
about.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where you're getting your information from.
Guilt. No, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all about the guilt and stuff too. But yeah, so we got married in the temple. We actually dated for long, like a long time, for Mormon standards. Um, it was like a year. So after, yeah, we were dating almost a year, and then we got engaged, and then we got married like 3 months after we got engaged, because it's like we already were dating for a long time. And yeah, of course, my parents were like a little scared because they knew that we had good physical, um, what's the word? We were very comfortable with each other. We'll just say that. And so, of course, the parents get scared that their kids are going to get or are going to have sex before marriage, So they always are like,
'Cause they
you got to
didn't
get
do
married
that.
quick. Yeah,
It's not like
I
they
know,
did
right?
that.
Yeah, never.
By the way, that's a good question. By the way, guys, I
Yeah.
am seeing all your questions. I have them written down, and Jess is doing an amazing job of sending them to me in DMs, so we can
Oh, good.
address a
Okay.
lot of them. One
Mhm.
thing that Desiree just said, I'm just trying to clarify because you're talking about the time like when you got married and you had to go through the rituals and stuff, and they had to show your endowments. Are you talking about you got naked?
No,
Okay,
no,
because she
there
said
was
that, and
no
I was like, did you
nakedness.
Google that? I Googled the
Yeah.
wrong
Oh
thing.
gosh. Oh, is there another ritual
I don't
that
know.
I don't know about?
It sounds like you were part of a ritual that nobody else was, so I'm sure maybe somebody else, they were like, well, I like her
Yeah.
knockers. Let's get her naked. Who's going to tell them it's wrong? Who's going to say, no, that's
I
not what
know.
other people do? Because you have to be quiet
Yeah.
about it. You're not supposed to
Oh,
share,
yeah. I was like, as
And,
far as I know, everyone had to do that.
and on top of that, how dare you ever negatively speak about their practice, their practices and their rituals? You have to agree with everything that they do, because if you're that one person that speaks out,
Oh
do
gosh.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, no
Exactly.
one wants that because they don't want
Exactly.
anybody, in power to hear that you were saying something negative. Anyway,
Ooh, or questioning. Yeah,
yeah,
questioning
exactly.
anything. Exactly. So yeah, when I went through the temple, and had to start wearing the garments, I I hated them like so much. It was basically like you're wearing bicycle shorts
Right.
as underwear, and they went down to almost your knee,
Right.
and so no short shorts or anything. And then the top like went to like here, um, and you had to wear it at all times, even when you slept. Which I was like, no, I can't sleep in
Because my
these.
cat might
They're-
rub on the wrong spot.
What? That's hilarious.
No, I'm just saying. No, I remember I worked with somebody at the hospital,
Mhm.
in that town that we lived in at the time. I worked at the hospital, and I had somebody. They had 7 siblings.
Okay, that sounds about right. Yeah.
And actually, her father passed away from pancreatic cancer suddenly. And the
Oh
Mormon
my
church
gosh.
stepped in and put her oldest brother through medical school and like took care of all the kids.
Oh,
The mom was a nurse. It was a whole thing. But anyway,
okay. They
so
are good with that, like
yeah, no,
help. Yeah.
they really are. I'm not going to
Mhm.
say that they're not, but you also like donate half your income to them. So it's kind of, whatever.
That is true.
It is what it is.
10% of your income. Yeah.
But then, which is basically, by the way, in most religions, that is the amount to tithe. Just
Yeah.
FYI, in case anybody was curious.
Mhm.
But I would
Every
see
month
her.
too.
I would see her sitting at the desk. We did the same job,
Mhm.
and she'd be like leaning forward, and she always had. I was like, man, her underwear are really tall. Like I was like, what is that? She always had this like white, almost satiny texture
Yep.
type garment on. And I remember
Mhm.
somebody was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that's her undergarment. It's like that's her." They called it something. What do they call it?
Just special. No,
Oh my god, I
that's the
can't
code
remember
for
what
it.
they called it. They had like a word for it, but it was her
Oh,
Mormon. Her
Mormon underwear.
shit, what was it called? I don't remember. But that's how I knew what it was. I was like, well, oh, because you know how some
Mhm.
people like they wear like those high waisted things and they like ride up halfway up their back, and I'm like, okay,
Oh yeah, like Spanx or something.
yeah, something like
Now
that. And
I
like
don't know.
I
Yeah.
see this, like I see it. Because I would think one time I almost told her to tuck it in, like, hey, your stuff's showing. But so I'm glad I didn't.
Oh man, I know, right? Yeah, that's hilarious.
No,
I know
but
it was so hard. Like, that was hard in itself trying to find outfits that were cute and would go down to to your knees.
right.
But sometimes, I mean, yeah, if you're like bending down to get, it's gonna show a little bit of it, or
Well, it's like wearing a slip
uh,
because we all loved
yeah,
those as kids.
I know that's true. That's
Wear
true.
slips in your skirt. I don't care if it sticks. There's nothing worse
Oh
than your
my gosh.
slip showing. And there was like a,
Ah,
yeah, so like if
I
you
know.
lean forward,
I know.
you would see it on your back and everything. And it was to cover up the pieces of you that shouldn't be exposed,
Yeah.
right? Which
I
is
mean, they
like
say,
here, all of
yeah.
here, all the way down
Mhm.
to like almost to your knees and everything in
Mhm.
between. That is your like no
Mhm.
square. That's your no
Yeah.
zone.
The no zone. And uh yeah, I just like it just felt so like restricting. So of course I didn't like wear them at night, but then I felt guilty. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not gonna go to heaven because I'm not wearing these
That's sad.
at bedtime. I know, like I feel so stupid that I was like
Like
thinking
not on your part.
these thoughts.
That's
No,
sad
no,
that that would be
I know.
something you have to stress over
Yeah,
so much,
I know.
right?
Yeah,
Because to
it was
me
hard.
that tells me honestly, that tells me there's no forgiveness. Because if you are
Yeah.
so worried, you're like, "Oh my god, but it's so uncomfortable and I'm like sweating and I'm hot and it's no I understand that. Like
Mhm.
and I understand how important
Mhm.
it is to people. If you believe in it, you believe in it. I'm not crap talking anybody for it. Believe in what you
Right.
want to. But
Right.
if like
Mhm.
you take it off one time or if you just don't sleep in them because you know what that's you're private in your own home doing your own thing and you're
Yeah.
like scared
Yeah.
over it
I know.
like that's not I don't think that's right
I
personally.
know.
I mean it's not
Exactly.
like you're
Exactly.
punching kids or something in your free time. No, I'm
You're just
serious.
not
It's
wearing your garments. I know. It's ridiculous. And yeah, we couldn't have coffee. And every now and then at holiday time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really just want like a pumpkin spice. I want to try one. And so I would try one, but of course I would feel guilty. And I'm like, okay, I can't have another one, until next year or whatever. And yeah, it's crazy. But they say you can have pop They say you can have Coke, but you can't have coffee. So it's
I
just
thought it caffeine
so.
was. I thought it was a caffeine thing.
Yep, yep.
So Coke has caffeine, in
Apparently.
case nobody knew that.
Hmm. I know, right? But they said it was okay to have caffeine pop, just not um,
Well, Coke's probably
tea.
sponsored them at some point. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They apparently have it at the BYU school. They have it in the cafeteria. They have Diet Coke in there. So I'm like, okay. Um, but I don't know. I just feel like they really just kind of pick and choose what is, you know, is okay. But then you're like, okay, I'm not going to question it. Like, okay, we can have pop, but we can't have coffee. But
yeah,
yeah,
logic has no
it's
place
weird.
here.
Hmm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah,
logic has
yeah.
zero
Says
place here.
no.
Logic is like now you're thinking like a non-believer. No, get out of here with the
Hmm.
logic mess. Like I don't want to hear that.
Oh yeah, don't question.
So
Yeah.
there's a couple questions. I'm gonna give you a
Yes,
couple of them.
I want to hear
We have a
some.
whole list. I'm gonna tell you that
Mm.
right now. I have an entire list. I'm gonna
Do you want
first
me to
off.
stop and
No, just for
do
a minute.
questions?
Let me just do
Okay,
a
I feel like
couple
I'm like
questions. I'm
rambling.
I'm literally gonna give you some applicable questions, and
Hmm.
this is my channel. I can give whatever questions that I think are applicable at this
You
point in
could do
time.
whatever.
Some of the
Yeah.
things I might know that you might answer later, so I'm gonna hold off on some of those.
Oh, yep. Hmm.
I already answered Savvy. He asked what part of Colorado. I already answered him. Okay, so somebody referring to when you moved from like Kansas to Colorado and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Gabrielle is very vocal. She's asking a lot of questions. Appreciate you, Gabrielle, for being here. She said,
Yay, Teddy.
how easy is it to move churches in LDS? Could your family move anywhere, or did the church choose for you?"
Mm. Hmm. That's a good question. Um, yeah. So that's what I talked about, like the wards.
Hmm.
Depending on where you live, there's like they call it like boundaries. So
Okay.
each like ward basically has like a paper, like in the neighborhood, like drawn out, like, okay, this area is, this ward.
Like
This
school
area is this
districts
ward. Yeah, yeah,
or
exactly.
voting districts. Yeah, I get you. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm. So wherever you live, somehow, oh gosh, I don't even know how, like my parents would even get a hold of when you go somewhere new, like where do you even know where to call? But somehow he knew,
I'm sure that they would
and
arrange it through the current people.
that's true.
Like they would literally
They always
transfer
know.
custody of your family into someone else's group. I
Yeah,
mean, that's what I would think.
yeah, yeah. They just always somehow know. And yeah, they would. So depending on where you lived, you would just go to that ward, and but then sometimes the neighborhood would get so big, they would have to do
Rezone.
the bound. Yeah, and yeah. So whenever you move to a different state, you figure out what ward you're in, and then you just go to that. There's like a different times for each ward.
Right.
So you could go to like the 9 o'clock time, the 11 o'clock time, or like the 2 o'clock time. So yeah, that was a good question.
Let me see what else we have. Okay, there's a couple of them. Another one from Gabrielle. Why were the Mormon men such savages at those single events?
That's hilarious. Uh, yeah, I I just something about, like, I mean, I never dated anybody that wasn't Mormon, so I didn't know what was normal, I guess. So, um, that's a good question. I don't know why they were the way they were.
Well, you may never know. We might ask Chris
Yeah,
later. We might
I'll never
save
know.
that
Yeah,
announcement later.
he
Why are we all
wasn't
such
one of
little
them.
assholes at these
He was
things?
good. He was the good. He was the only good one. That's why I married him. Just kidding.
Dorinda asks, and she was referring to when I was talking about like the women. She said, so as a woman who has trouble conceiving more than others, is she worth less as a wife? Is there that hierarchy?
Ooh, that's a good question. So more like back in I'm trying to think, like 80s, kind of back in there, it was, um, you know, there was a lot of big families, and they kind of frowned upon birth control.
Right.
And so they were just like, whatever happens, happens, you know. Now these days, I feel like it's a little less um, expected, I guess. Because there's a lot of families now that I see that are Mormon that have, you know, just like one or two. But it's not like they're shunned or anything like that.
They've done their
Maybe
heir
the
and a spare.
fundamentalists. What is it?
They've done their heir and a spare.
What does that mean?
The heir and the spare, like when kings have kids, they have the heir, the prince, and then a spare just in case something happens to their heir.
Ah, that's funny. I'm like, what is this that you speak of?
How did Chris's sister react to you two dating?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I did forget to talk about that. She was pretty mad when she found out, especially because we were going behind her back.
Ooh.
That was probably not good. Let's see. I told her the next day because I was like feeling guilty. And I just texted her. I was like, hey, so just FYI, we, you know, me and Chris kissed. Or I guess made out. I don't know. I don't remember the word that I used, but yeah, and then we were supposed to move in with each other, me and his sister, like in just a couple months. And so she was like, I don't think we're going to be able to move in with each other. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what? You know, and yeah, it took her a few days. We finally sat down and talked about it. It seems so silly now because, you know, it's like we're all like good now. But Chris dated one of her other friends before me, and he was actually trying not to date. And of course, I swooped in and was texting him like, come on over, and you know, all this stuff. And the other girlfriend ended pretty badly. So she lost a friend, you know, so she was like, oh my gosh, am I going to lose another friend? You know, like if it doesn't work out. So I could see where she was coming from, you know.
Right.
I would have been annoyed too. But we laugh about it now. So
that's good.
You know, now that we've been married for our, 14 years and all that.
So I'm going to answer Gabrielle. I think I can answer Gabrielle's question, which I already, well, let me put it this way. I know the answer. How long did you have to wear the garments for?
So you basically, once you go through the temple for the first time, you just have to wear them forever.
Forever. Yeah, that's the answer.
Forever.
Like it's a thing.
You buy, I mean, of course they're going to get worn out and stuff, just like underwear does. So you,
did you wear underwear underneath it, or was it just that was that?
Well, you're supposed to just wear that. But then, the monthly visitor, when that comes, it gets a little tricky.
That was that's a lot. That
you
sounds
have
like
to get
a
little
lot of fun.
Creative. Yeah. That was fun. When you, let's see, I'm trying to think. Yeah, so you would just they had in the temple, wherever city you live in, they have kind of a side store that you go and
like a commissary.
Yeah, you go and buy your garments.
Your official approved garments.
Yes, exactly. And you could pick your fabric.
Oh,
they had cotton.
Options.
Yes, options. You can have silk or cotton, just depending on what.
Latex.
That was not one. Just kidding. That was not an option.
Spandex.
Yeah, they were kind of like spandex.
So,
but
that was kind of like I know there's more questions. Turtle, I saw your question a long time ago. I'm not going to address it yet. And there was another one that was asking about something that she's going to answer in a little bit. And Desiree, I know you're here for the NSFW. You're always here for the NSFW, and that's cool. But we're not there yet, because what we're doing is we're building it up. Because here's the thing, is that there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it. And this is the first time you've gotten to tell your story. So in all honesty, like, you go through all this, you grow up in this, right? This is your life. This is everything that you know.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's only what I know. Yeah.
You know nothing else. This is how life is supposed to be. This is the answer to all the questions. This is the repercussions for everything that you do. This is the guilt trips. This is the who you answer to, the hierarchy in your life. This is everything. Like I said, fully immersed, right? Fully immersed.
Yes.
So you find somebody and you kind of skirt the law a little bit, but that you self-report, which, you're so
Which I didn't have to do.
Right, you didn't have to do it. I would have lied like a rug. I'd have been like, we've been like 7 feet apart at all times. Angels. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even breathe in my direction. I thought he did once, and I shoved him away and ran. Like,
you're like, we can't do that. We can't do that.
So you went through the rituals. You went and you got married. You got approved to get married in the temple, and you got married.
Yes.
Okay, and so then you start your life as a couple in the religion, fully immersed. Both of you are fully immersed.
We were diehard in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I might be jumping the gun, but at what point did you guys start to think,
kind of question,
like, think this either? And here's the question: is whether it was something like, this isn't for me, whether that was the first thought, or whether it was more something you just thought something was wrong, or was it something that you were doing that you felt like disagreed, there was a conflict? What was it that started the snowball going down the hill?
Ooh, good question. So then I'm trying to think what kind of started it. So after I had my first daughter, she's 11 now. I ended up getting postpartum depression, which I had no idea that was even a thing. Like, no one talked about that, and I eventually talked to the doctors, and they put me on medication. And then I ended up seeing a therapist too. Chris, he loves, he's seen therapists and stuff too. And he's just such a believer, on that. And so he's like, I think maybe go see a therapist too, and just see if that makes you feel better.
Right.
And she was great. I felt like she almost knew me better than me, and I feel like every time I had an issue or something, I feel like it was always something about the church,
By the way, she was a therapist that was not involved with the church.
Right. Yeah. She had
Which is important, because that wouldn't have been that way if it was a therapist involved with the church. That would not have gone that direction.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if
it's
I
all
went to
your
the
fault.
church.
No, it's everything's your fault. Like, that's what would have happened. So, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're like, oh, maybe you're not praying hard enough, or reading your scriptures. Yeah.
Did you take your undergarments off?
Oh, no. I was like, I don't sleep with them. And so I just feel like every time I was feeling anxiety or something, it was like, there was like a common
direct correlation between something that had to do with the church.
The church, yeah.
And something
and the
that
women.
And
them. Yeah.
Like the people that went to the church, not just the church, the rules, the hierarchy, but the actual people that you had to deal with when you would go to temple.
Oh, yeah. Especially the women.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, women are mean.
I just, I don't know if it's like, I mean, there's kind of, there's always some that are not as friendly, but I just felt like I was never going to be like them,
Right.
Like, they were just so on top of everything, I was like, gosh, they make dinner every night. Like, what? I was like, I don't do that. Or, trying to think what else. They go to all their meetings, they go to all the baby showers, everything. I'm like, gosh, I don't do all that stuff, so I just didn't feel like I was up to par, with the women. And it was really starting to get to me. And the therapist was like, one day she just said, why are you Mormon? And I was like, whoa, That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't really answer. Like it took me a while to answer. And then all of a sudden I was like, because my parents wanted me to,
Right.
all of a sudden I just was like, that's why I was Mormon, And so that really kind of like made me think, you know? And, um, and then what was it? So Chris, his experience, um, okay. So it's, it's going to start to get a little risque.
We don't do that around here, do we, guys?
Yeah,
We don't get risque around here. I don't know what you're talking
no,
about. You better be nice. I'm
no,
just kidding.
just bleep me out. um, so we had an experience. Um, we were already kind of feeling like, I don't know if this is for us.
Mm-hmm.
We did try wine for the first time too.
You
Mm-hmm.
hussy! How dare
I
you?
know. I have never had a drink until, when was that? I think I was 32, maybe. We were both like, do you want to taste what alcohol tastes like? And
You're
so, yeah,
being
one night,
naughty.
I know. And of course, these two Mormons, like, what do we're so like, you walk into a liquor store, where do you begin?
That sounds like a
And
joke. Two Mormons walk into a liquor store.
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yep, exactly. That was us. And we're like, okay, I think Chris like researched stuff on the internet, and we started with Moscato. We're like, okay, let's start with something kind of sweet. Um, so yeah, we had that. And
It's
one
cute that
night
you
we are
started
like,
with wine. That's cute.
I yeah, like we were just like, what to start with. And we were like, ooh, this is good. The Moscato was like really good. And then, we kind of like felt a little, we were like, oh, what's that? That feels cool, too. And then,
They like to
yeah,
get
we
buzzed, y'all.
liked,
If you didn't catch
yeah.
that.
I mean, I never knew what that feeling was
What are
like, but
these
I liked
feelings
it.
that I'm having?
I know, seriously.
Your
And so,
inhibitions went, ooh.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Me and Chris, yeah. And then we kind of felt sexy, after we drank too. So we
That's
had
what
some
happened.
fun after too.
That's what
We're like,
happens. That's how people end up on
ooh,
bars and on speakers dancing the night away after drinking tequila. We
yeah,
all feel
I
sexy.
understood. I understood that
And
now.
people
I'm
look
like,
sexier, and then you learn later, you're like, whoa. So,
yeah,
yeah,
oh,
it's a whole thing.
what was that? Yeah, exactly, exactly. So we're like, oh my gosh, okay. And then the next day, though, we're like, okay, we can't do this again. No. We just wanted to, because we had never tried it. We just wanted to try it.
You should install a
And
bar on your planet. Just saying.
what? Oh, a bionic planet. That would be awesome. Um, and then, okay, so then there was this girl in our ward. Um, we just like, I don't know, we just like hit it off. Um, Her husband was a little weird. She, I don't know, like it's like we got along with her more than her husband.
Right.
And I think she basically admitted that he was kind of like her rebound guy, and then she ended up marrying him.
Oops.
I know. And
Because remember,
so,
you're sealed, which means you are stuck forever. It's like soup Gorilla Glue. It's Gorilla Glue, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it's just not till death. It's forever.
yeah, it's till eternity.
Yeah. Eternity. Exactly. Yeah. And she lived in the same apartment complex as us. So, yeah, we just started like becoming close. It started becoming times where she would just come by herself. I don't think he liked us either. And so she would just come by herself, and
Well, you were naughty drinking wine. He didn't want his wife around you.
I know, right? I think she was a convert too, come to think of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think she was. And since I do hair and then makeup, I was like, hey, come on over. I want to like practice, makeup and stuff. And so I asked permission to with Chris if I could tell this story, and he said it was okay. But
Shout out, Chris.
I know. Thank you.
I have a feeling we're gonna really appreciate you in a minute.
And yeah, so we all just would like hang out and stuff. So her husband's sister also lived in the complex. And then she was married and all that. But we were just closer to her than anybody else in her family. And so what was it? Oh yeah, so I did her makeup, and then like I could tell she was kind of like I don't know, almost kind of flirting with Chris a little bit. Like after she had her makeup on, she was kind of like, kind of getting near Chris.
Herself.
Yeah, she's like, okay, like I'm looking good, like I'll see what Chris thinks,
Right.
And Chris is kind of naturally kind of a flirt, too. So I'm sure he egged it on a little bit. And it's all his fault. And so, nothing came of it. But then we arranged a night where we were all gonna drink tequila together. Yeah.
Oh, you're going, man. You were all in on like, hey, wine. That's cool. Let's go tequila.
Yeah.
Let's go balls to the walls, y'all. Like, hey, I like this feeling. Let's like, get completely knackered and. Hey,
of course, we didn't know what good tequila was.
Like, and what you scheduled it. That's even better. You're like,
we got bad kind. It was not good.
Was it like bottom shelf tequila?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
like the $1.55.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. And we played a game where so we put on Friends, and we were like every time. Oh, I forget what it was, but we were like anytime someone said this or something, we'll take a shot. So we ended up having so many shots because
you don't do that with tequila, by the way.
Yeah, we found that out very, very quickly.
I don't care how much y'all drink. I don't care, Ben. Not even you, Ben. He sells alcohol to venues. That's his job. So,
oh my gosh,
of all people,
okay.
Ben will. I guarantee you, he might try it, but that you don't do that. You don't take shots with tequila, especially like. Okay, you remember the show How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
When they would take shots every time she say "but." And they all got like completely drunk.
Yeah. I think it was like something with Chandler. Like if he said,
of course
I don't know, something, and of course he was saying it a lot.
So you got hammered.
Yes. So I ended up getting really sick, and I was throwing up in the bathroom. I was not doing good. So I laid on the bed. I was just like, oh gosh, I need to lay down or something. I can't keep going.
Like remove my head from my body because they don't.
Oh,
they don't.
That was the worst feeling ever.
Shout out Ben doing a tequila shot on your behalf.
I know. I'm almost like, Chris, grab me a tequila shot. Now that I have tequilas that I like. And Chris got sick too. We were both throwing up in bathrooms. That
sounds
lovely.
Like a fun time.
Oh, it was.
It's all
fantastic.
Fun and games till somebody pukes their face off.
Yeah, sorry. This part is gross. But so I was passed out on our bed because I was just like,
destroyed.
I was done. I was done. So, and then I'm like, what should I name her? We'll say Jessica. So we'll say the neighbor friend was Jessica.
Okay.
So she, yeah, started kissing Chris. And I think it took him by surprise. But I mean, they've been kind of like flirting, here and there. So it was definitely, you know, something that probably would eventually happen. And then he said, he was like, no, not today. So I think she wanted to go further, like, yeah, have sex. And he's like, no, not tonight. Come back tomorrow. So
Pencil it in.
I think he basically wanted just her to get out, just because he was like, whoa,
Right.
this is happening so quick, And and I was gonna be at work the next day.
Did you know about this the whole time it was happening?
No,
Okay, so you found out after the fact.
I
Okay,
did not.
I got you.
Thank you. Oh, can you give me a tequila shot?
Oh, there's that vodka in that.
Oh, well, okay, never mind. He knows me well. Um,
Shout out,
and
Chris.
shout out to Chris. And yeah, I didn't know anything about this. The next day I went to work, and she came over, and he basically, let's see, I'm trying to think if they kissed more. They might have kissed more.
Mhm.
And then he was like, we can't do this, And yeah, I think she was like kept trying, but he was like, no, we can't. And so, oh, you got the tequila shot. Okay, thank you.
Hey, shout out, Chris.
I'll just put that right there. You have a shout out to you. Hey. And so I'm trying to think. It's like so long. This happened like so long ago that I'm like trying to remember the details. But the next day, he, like, I guess, turned himself in, and what did he do? He made a appointment to talk to the bishop, and he was gonna like confess,
Right.
kind of what happened. And so yeah, he eventually did. He talked to them, and they made him like wait outside the door. So there was like, there's like a bishop's office, and then usually outside of the office there's like folding chairs usually right there. And he was like texting me while he was like waiting there. He's like, I'm still waiting. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, like they haven't decided, I guess, what your punishment was. And I guess they ended up, after an hour of talking about it with the the bishop and his two counselors,
Right.
they decided to disfellowship him.
Oh,
Which is not, it's not excommunicated. Excommunicated means that you're just like
that's harsh, though.
out of the church. Yeah, so that basically means that you can't participate in any, like, you can't pray, you can't teach lesson, you can't like comment even. So he's like, okay. He didn't think it was that bad, because I mean, he turned himself in, and he didn't have sex with with Jessica.
Right.
And so yeah, he was a little surprised.
Yeah, that surprised me
that
because I mean that's pretty harsh.
Yeah. And apparently, I don't know how he found this out, but apparently one of the guys didn't want that to happen. But then I guess some of the other guys wanted it to happen. So they were trying to like have an agreement. But
Over kissing another woman.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I know. I feel like one of them maybe didn't like Chris and
Rude.
wanted him to, I don't know. That's what
No,
I
get
kind of
it.
felt
I
like.
understand.
Yeah. And so, yeah, usually he's very, I mean, he's a extrovert, so he's very like, he likes to comment, he likes to be involved,
Participate and stuff.
participate, yeah. And so he usually in Sunday school, he would always volunteer to pray, he would, make comments. So it was kind of weird having him not do comments. And so I can't even remember how much time had passed, but one day he was sitting there in Sacrament, the first hour, and one of the guys was doing a lesson, and he said, "You could only be happy in this church," or something like that. And all of a sudden, Chris was like, "No, I'm not," you know. And then he came over. He whispered to me. He's like, I think I'm done being Mormon." I was like, "Okay."
Wow.
I don't know how to take that, you know. And
Real quick before
yeah,
you go on,
yes.
they're all asking. They want to know, how did you find out about what he did? Did he confess to you first before he made his
Oh,
appointment?
that's a good question. Yeah. Yes, he finally did after a few days. So yeah, he didn't tell me like right after it happened, but he finally told me a few days later. And then so it was weird. Yeah, she was like talking to me like I was like nothing had happened all that time. And I was like, "Okay, you knew that whole time." And then it was like she was waiting for Chris to like say it. And then I was like,
Deny.
"Okay."
Lie like a rug.
And I went up to my apartment one day and there was a dozen roses from her.
Ooh.
I was like, "Okay." She just was like, "I'm so sorry," you know, and all this stuff. So yeah,
after all this
it was
happens,
a little
and
weird.
he loses his fellowship,
Mhm.
then he's like, you know
Mhm.
what? They're telling me I
Mhm.
can only be happy in this church.
Mhm.
There's no other way, right? Because
Mhm.
I'm assuming that statement was completely all encompassing.
Yeah.
You cannot, like, whether it was you're not allowed to or you will never be able to, but you cannot be happy
Mhm.
outside of
Mhm.
this church under our rule when we actually took away your fellowship. So everything that
Yeah.
made you really like it and be involved and be a part of it, we
Yeah.
just took that away. But you cannot be
Yeah.
happy unless you're in this church because we have control over you.
Yeah.
And he's
And
like,
he was more in it than I was.
that's
Oh
what he was
yeah.
like. He's like,
I don't blame him.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually, it was probably the best thing that happened. I mean, now looking back, you know, I
right.
was like, "Oh gosh, actually, I'm glad he got disfellowship because then we got to really see, you know, what
Did you
you know,
fight it? Were
what
you
they
like,
were."
no, we can't do this? Or were you like,
Gosh.
okay.
Okay. No, I was, yeah, I think the rest of the day I was just like really quiet. I was like, "Oh gosh, okay." Like,
Like,
I'm
were
like,
you
this really
worried for
changes
his
things.
future and his like afterlife? And were you worried on his
Yeah,
behalf, or were you just like, well, shit?
I know. You know what? I don't even remember what. I think there was just so many things that just like came in. I was just like, "Oh gosh, I don't even know what to do." Honestly, I think what I was scared about most was just like what my parents would think.
Right.
You know, of course, that's always
That should be
what it
telling.
goes back
Just FYI, when you're making a life changing
to. Mhm.
decision with your husband,
Mhm.
right? The number one concern should be your parents. That
I know,
tells you
right?
that
Right?
there's something a little bit off there. Not saying I
Mhm.
wouldn't want my mother's like to be supportive and on board with whatever I
Yes.
was doing.
Yes.
However, if that is literally
The first thing
the first thing
that
and the
comes.
biggest concern is, oh shit, what is mom gonna say?
Yeah.
Not, oh my god,
Yeah.
we're going to hell. Or not,
Yeah.
oh my god, our planet just got like reassigned. What the hell?
Your
Or
planet got reassigned. Yeah. Exactly.
I know that was
No,
kind of
that didn't
snarky of
even.
me. I shouldn't have said that because that's kind of
No, I
disrespectful.
thought it was funny.
I'm like,
I thought it was
I'm
hilarious.
trying to at least, I
Um.
mean, whether I agree or not. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm gonna just put this out there. I think the whole
Mhm.
planet thing is kind of like wackadoodle, but that's okay. Like,
Oh, everyone. Yeah.
I mean,
Everyone thinks
unless you're
that.
the one inheriting the planet, and then yay for you. So, like,
You're queen
enjoy
of
your
the planet.
planet, and
I
I'm
know.
going to enjoy heaven, and I don't have a
Yeah.
planet because I'll be by myself. Like, that would suck. Anyway, sorry, I
You're
digress.
like, I'm just gonna have a ball at my planet.
And I'm not saying that your
That-
parents' opinion didn't matter, or that that didn't make sense. I'm just saying that because you'd grown up in it, because you were in the middle of it, because it was
Yeah.
everything to you. Like your first thought is like,
Mhm.
shit, mom's gonna be so mad.
I know,
Mama's not
right?
gonna want
Like,
to talk to me.
mm,
Wait, people
mom is
people
mad.
convert. Can people convert? People can convert to the Mormon religion. That's what her mom did at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
They accept people,
They
but you
can.
have to like. There's stuff
Mhm.
you have to do for that.
Mhm. Yeah, they're
Oh,
very nice
Desiree, you
to convert.
definitely missed the part about the planet.
Oh. Oh. Well, I guess we never really totally talked about the
No,
planet.
I mean I mentioned
Huh?
it because I didn't
Yes.
know how far into that you wanted to get, but to
Um,
sum it up, right?
I know, right?
The
Yeah.
men, right? If you are a good Mormon and you follow all the rules and you do what you're supposed to and you procreate, which is a big part of that,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you maintain the church's approval at all times and you follow the laws and like, or at least nobody finds out that you didn't. When you die,
Whatever you say. Yeah.
you rule
Mhm.
your own planet as the emperor of your own planet. That's what you get to do, and you get sealed to your wife, which means for in
Mhm.
the here and thereafter you're with them. They get to join
Mhm.
your planet, and if you're the branch that has multiple wives, they all come too. And your children. However, the male children are supposed to have their own planet, so we haven't figured out how that part works. But the end goal is when you die,
Uh,
you have God will grant you your own planet that
or
you
you're
are the
assigned. You're
you're
more like
assigned
assigned
yeah, well, it's like an
to a
apartment,
planet.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody
Like
said it was like the
your
size of
living area.
Jupiter. It could be like the size of a ring light. We don't know. But
Yeah, they had the celestial. Oh gosh, what was the second one? It's like telestial and then terrestrial. So it's like, yeah, it goes down. So of course, you
you
want to
have
be
like
at
the
the
heavens, you have
celestial.
like your, kings and queens of their planets, and then you have the people on Earth.
Yeah,
Right? Okay.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah, exactly. I think they called Earth like the middle one. It was kind of
Middle
like the
Earth.
middle one, like
Are
because
they
it's kind of like
hobbits?
half and half. Hobbit. Sure.
You said
There could
Middle
be
Earth.
hobbits
What
on
am I
there.
supposed to
I'm
think?
like, there could be. That is hilarious.
I apologize.
Um,
Again, I digress. So yeah,
love it.
that's the planet thing,
Love it.
Desiree.
Yes.
So basically your husband's like, hey,
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
right, you know what? I'm done.
I'm not feeling this.
Yeah, I think this is probably not for us. Now,
Mhm.
at that point, you're concerned about what your parents thought, which is understandable because they obviously are a
Mhm.
huge part of your life, the family, because
Oh
of
yeah.
course it's all immersive and they
Mhm.
keep you cloistered within people in the church. So those are like the
Mhm.
people you interact with the most, the people you speak to the most, and all that. So at this
Yep.
point,
Mhm.
did you get on board soon, or were you like thinking about it too, or it made sense, and then
Mhm.
you guys decided to do it together? Like, were you planning like a spectacle,
Like
like
a
fuck it, I'm
escape
done, and
together.
like drop the mic and walk out of the temple,
I know.
or just like
Exactly.
hoping to slink away and think maybe nobody will notice?
Oh no, that would never happen.
No.
Uh, um. So I was like, of course, I didn't want to be like that, like someone that was like, okay, just because he left, I'm gonna leave. I was
You
like,
wanted to make your own
okay,
decision,
yeah. I was
right?
like, let me just, see how I feel about this.
It's
And
only your afterlife and the eternity, so
I
not
know,
important to
right?
make
Just
your own
that.
choice.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't even know how like word got out, or did I talk about it or something? And of course, the women were all like, hugging me and stuff. They're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, that happened and stuff." And I'm like, well, now looking back, I'm like, were they only doing that because they didn't want me to leave too? Like people that I had never talked to, or they were coming up to me and hugging me, and I'm like, I haven't talked to you ever. Why are you doing this now?
So he told them
And
he was planning on. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this."
you know what? I do not remember
Or,
how it came about.
I mean, for all you know,
Maybe I said
when he was
something.
talking to them, he might have been like, "Screw you guys, I'm out."
Yeah,
Like, you're taking
yeah.
what away from me now? I'm not happy when where? Okay, you know what?
Mhm.
Screw you. And they told
Mhm.
their wives or something, and everybody tells everybody everything.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they
Things just
might have. We don't
spiral.
know, but
Yeah, yeah. I might have went up at some point and maybe because like once a month we would bear our testimony. Um,
Like a confession?
Either kind of
Okay.
it's you would except you wouldn't just be in a little one of those little box things
A
like
confessional?
it wasn't in that. You're talking to the whole
Oh,
congregation. So you
no pressure.
I know, no pressure or anything. And so you could either do that in the first, hour, or do it in like when the men and the women would get separated. So I think I might have done it then because I think I was like, Chris has decided, not to participate anymore, and something like that. I don't know. And then, yeah, that's when everyone was hugging me and stuff. Um, so I went, I'm trying to think how many months. Maybe like I kept going for about like 4 months. I was like, okay, let's just I want to see if I still feel this. And I was slowly not wanting to keep going, and I was just like, oh gosh, how do I leave? And I was like, gosh, I can't just leave. Like they're gonna be sending people to my door, to like
That's
um
not creepy at all.
yeah, no, not at all.
It's not
But
creepy. Stalk or no stalk. Yeah, okay.
yes, exactly. And our apartment was about to be up for its lease
Right.
soon. So I I was like, okay, when that is up, that then I will leave because then you
Get the
move to a
fuck
whole
out of
different.
Dodge.
Mhm.
Let's
Mhm.
go.
Mhm.
No,
I
no,
was
no
like, okay,
forwarding mail.
yeah, yeah. I'm
No
like,
forwarding address. No
no
change
one
of
will
address
know.
form.
Yeah.
Like no Facebook update. Let's just like
Yes. Yes. Just
they rent out
move,
trucks in the middle of the night. Not a problem. Don't worry about it.
move in the night. And yeah, because I knew. Oh gosh, yeah, I just knew it was not going to be an easy way to leave if I was still in that ward and trying to leave.
So you knew you were
Um.
done. You were like, you know what? I'm on board. I'm not really.
Mhm.
This isn't for
Mhm.
me. Like, was it?
Mhm. It never really was for me. I thought it was,
Mhm.
and then it was. I realized I was basically kind of going for Chris. Too, because
Right.
he was in it more than I was. Um.
You went because you were
And
supposed to, and he went because he was a true believer.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he
Well, I
really
mean, he was
was.
getting a planet, so
Mhm.
you know.
Exactly,
Sorry, I don't.
exactly.
I'm trying
No,
not to be like.
I love the planet stuff.
I'm sorry.
Um,
That's the one thing that blows. No, it's not the only thing. That is just the one thing
oh,
I'm latching onto and running with,
no,
because
a lot of people do. A lot
y'all,
of people do.
seriously.
It's really weird. Yeah, when you really think about it. So we like loved, and I was like, okay, we're free. No
Hmm.
one knows where
Did
we
you like
are.
literally move like like run
I'm trying to think what we did.
like in the middle of the night?
Oh
That would have been awesome. Like
no,
the
I
when
would
I
now. I wish
left
we
when I
did.
left my like when I left and took my kids and ran, like I woke up
Was
I
it in
well
the
my kid
night?
it was like
Like,
it wasn't in the middle of the night, but it was like my daughter knew we were going to be moving to Texas. And so I literally told her a different day. Oh yeah, you'll have time to go say bye to your
mm,
friends. And then the morning of, because my
okay.
mom was getting this house I'm living in now, she was getting this house built. And she's like, we
Mm,
just moved in to the new house. So the old house is
okay.
open. In like 2 days, we're going to clean it out. I'm like, bet. I'm on my way. I'd
Oh,
already been going through stuff, packed up a little 4-door sedan with what I could, threw my
oh
girls
my
in
gosh.
there, and headed for the state line. Well, I had a restraining order on him.
Oof.
So I literally was waiting in Pensacola in Florida at like a really cool rest stop or something. Oh, we were like dragging our feet while my mom consistently, because it was the day of court
Oh
that we were
gosh.
supposed to go to get it was to make it. It was already permanent. I had requested a dismissal, And if nobody
Okay.
shows up, they automatically dismiss it. But I didn't want to be there because if he showed up, right?
Oh,
Because he's a
shoot.
stalker.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I was
no.
waiting in Pensacola because I wasn't allowed to
Okay.
leave the state with my kids while the
Mhm.
restraining order was in effect. So
Okay.
I dropped the restraining order, and my mom was calling and calling and calling. And the second that they said, she calls me and she's like, "It's clear. Like, it's not in the system yet, but they, court's over and, they dropped it because nobody showed."
Oh,
I was
so
over the
okay.
state
He
line
didn't show.
that second. I was gone. And we drove the long way
Oh.
because I was afraid if I went on I-10 that they would know. So we went
Oh my
I-90. We
gosh.
went the scenic route. We stayed at a hotel, so it would take us like 2 days instead of going straight through.
Oh
Yeah, like we
gosh.
ran
Oh
in
my
like not
gosh.
the middle of the night, but
Oh.
it was like
Like it
no one knew I was leaving
felt
but my
like.
mom. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'd shut down all my social media. If you saw that disappear like 5 years ago, I shut down
Oh
all my
wait.
social media.
I did.
I shut
Okay, I do
and I
remember that.
ran. So that's why I'm asking you because I've done it.
Okay. Yeah. Mhm.
And it was
I
because
mean,
there were friends and there was his family and it was him and there was like all these things that could have happened. And I was
yeah.
terrified. I was terrified.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I was
That is
like,
not a fun feeling. Yeah. Oh my
so
gosh.
I was just
Yeah.
curious, if you,
I know. I mean, luckily we didn't have to like really, I guess, do that.
yeah,
Like I knew
I
once
don't
we just like
recommend.
moved. I know. Don't
I
recommend
don't
that.
recommend it. It's not fun.
Exactly. And so, yeah, when we moved to a different apartment, I was just like, okay,
Was it
you know,
like 2 doors over?
no
Because that
one's.
would be funny.
You know what? It was actually like 10 minutes away from our last one, but it was a whole nother district and ward. It's funny how just I think there was like a highway like cutting the
Now,
you
does
know
changing wards
cutting it in half.
remove their jurisdiction over you?
Yeah.
Like breaks their jurisdiction
Mhm.
even if they didn't hand you over to the next ward? Technically,
Mhm.
you don't live in their boundary, so technically they
Mhm.
can't touch you.
Yeah.
Smart. Look
Yeah.
at you.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna wait till we are gone.
Yeah, Ben, you can invite
till
him. Feel free.
and yeah. So, but they did find us.
Of
The
course they did.
people.
Because they're stalkers, right?
I know.
Isn't it funny how that
Oh
happens? They're
gosh.
stalkers.
Mhm.
Plus,
Not
they
our
lost
old
your
ward.
10%, income tithe.
Oh,
So, we've got to figure
I
out where
know,
that's
right?
going and make sure at least
Ex-
somebody's getting it.
I know exactly.
Be like, no,
Yeah.
Cancun is getting it, bitch.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Anyway, continue.
No, so actually our old ward didn't find us. It was the new one that we were going to be in.
Oh,
Who knows how they did?
pre-stalking.
I don't know. Pre-stalking.
Like, we're going to have to
Yes.
stalk you sooner or later. We might as well just find you now. Like, oh, somebody's new.
I know. I was like, no. You weren't supposed to find us. So
That's
yeah,
some,
we
that's
had
some creepy
people.
stuff, though. That's really kind of creepy, though.
Oof, I know. I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And so, yeah, and then they tried to like use my, I guess, hair cutting to kind of get in, I don't know. Like they're like, oh, I hear you cut hair. Can we make an appointment? And I'm like, nope, I don't have any openings for a long time. I'm on a 6-month waiting list.
Indefinitely. But please hit me up on the next planet and you can come to my salon there.
I love it. I need to write these down. That's awesome.
Just
And and so and there was another time, I think, what was it? Oh, I think we were gonna go out to get drinks. And then we had some people come by and we're like,
did you
nope,
do a shot
we're
for them?
actually
Like, cheers.
I know, we
bitches.
should have. I know. We're out of here.
I mean, because they really
And
couldn't do anything to you, really,
right.
except guilt the crap out of
Right.
you. That's all they could
Oh
really
yeah.
do is guilt you.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, because you
Which
were,
sometimes works
yeah.
on people, but not on me. I was like, oh, actually, we're gonna go get some drinks. So, nope. And then, so after that, because I was just like so tired, I'm like, I can't handle these people
Right.
keep coming, And so finally, I had Chris looked up how to basically excommunicate yourself.
Oh,
And so, and that way you won't be on any lists. There's just
right. Because
no
you're dead
list
to them
out
if
there.
you're not one of their church.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're dead to them.
basically.
They don't like you
Yeah.
anymore.
They're like, oh, okay.
Like
I
you want
guess you're
to you
done.
want to leave us, then you're
Yeah.
like you're gone.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
that's
You don't exist anymore.
hey, that worked out
And
for you though.
I know. Yeah, apparently, what did we have to do? I don't even remember what we had to do. I had to sign some paper and then we sent it to like the prophet. I don't know. There was some paperwork that had to be done. Um but yeah. So we were free of that. But then we had to still tell my parents. So, yes. Um what happened? I'm trying to think. I think this all happened like a couple months before like Christmas and all that. So I was like, I like begged Chris. I'm like, can we tell them after Christmas? Like I just didn't want the holidays to be like super awkward, and
Did
just
you
like,
know how they were going to respond?
honestly, that I think that's what scared me is I didn't know how they were going to respond. I was like, I don't even know what's going to happen.
Well, I'm saying like, were
They,
you trying to get at least like one final holiday memory in?
yeah, basically.
Because
I
you
was
thought
like,
it could go that way, right?
basically, they could just stop talking to us or accept it.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I just want to get through the holidays, have like some happy times, and then give it to them.
Right. Because you're not be able to hide it
Yeah.
forever. They're in the church. I'm sure the church would have told them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Word would have somehow got out. And so, gosh, was it in January of some? Okay, this was like about 8, 9 years ago, I think. So yeah, we sat them down. I was so like the whole day, my stomach was in knots. Like I felt almost like nauseous the whole day. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And yeah, we didn't really go into detail what
Right.
happened, especially with the girl and everything and all that.
When it comes down to
But
it, I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes down to it, that was never necessary for you to disclose to anyone.
yeah, I mean, it didn't change it. Like it wasn't really like anything like that was I guess important
To me,
to
the catalyst
that.
seems to be the moment that he heard that you're not going to be happy without this church, and he realized how ludicrous that is.
Yep.
Right?
That's what really really got to him. Yeah. I mean,
Good night, Annette. Appreciate you being here, ma'am. Night, Ben.
yeah, I think that was really, yeah, the like probably like 75% of it. And if that guy only knew that that's what made him
Yeah.
not
You
want
just
to
never
be
know.
Mormon anymore.
You just never know.
Yeah,
But I think
that's
that
true.
if he said that and that was the catalyst, if it was something that he said, then
Mhm.
it wasn't like it wasn't like it turned his power on and he was like off or he was just like a zombie and then all of a sudden he's like bing.
Mhm.
It just it
Mhm.
reiterated and it just put into perspective something he's probably was thinking about anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like, and it's funny because I was working at a salon at that time that was run by Mormons,
Right.
and probably about 80% of the people that worked there were Mormon. And so, and it was one of my coworkers' husbands that said that comment too about you can only be happy here. Yeah, if you only knew. um, and so yeah, that was another thing too. When I, left, I had to see the people, my coworkers that were still Mormon. And the customers that came in were from our old ward. So it was a little awkward at times, especially when I came in and I had this sounds really stupid, but if I had a tank top on or shorts that were longer than or shorter than my fingertips, I could tell, I could just feel their eyes, on me.
Right.
And
Because you don't know them.
mhm, mhm. And so yeah, that was a little crazy. But yeah, once we told my parents, my mom cried, which broke my heart. Like I was just, I mean, you never want to make your mom cry. And my dad, it's like he almost went through like grieving process. Like he was sad, and then like a few days later he was like mad.
Right.
And then, and he was like, um, well, I'm going to take, we only had Addie at that point. He's like, well, I'm going to take Addie to church with us. Like, you owe it to us. And I was just like, oh, what? Like, we owe it to you? Like,
No.
no, she's
No.
our kid, and yeah, we were just like, what the heck? And yeah, we just knew he was angry. He was definitely like going through that phase. And then, yeah, it probably took a good year for things to kind of get back to normal again, And it's funny because after that too, they were totally fine with us not being more of it, but they would almost talk to us like we still were, in a way. Like she'd be like, "Oh, remember so and so? They're, doing this and stuff," and I'm like, "Okay, okay." So I don't know. That was a little weird.
Right.
That they still kind of talked about church stuff, But
Like maybe you
yeah,
just like slip and fall into church one day.
I I think they always had that in the back of their mind because they didn't know that we excommunicated ourselves.
Oh.
So they still don't know.
They do now.
Well, none of them are. I didn't tell any of them
No, that's
about
fine. I was just
about
messing
this.
with you. I'm just messing with you. I know.
I know, but yeah. I mean, I'm sure maybe at this point, maybe they figured
They
that
might have figured it
we are.
out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
considering the fact that they're fully immersed into the religion,
Mhm.
their entire thought process, right, is that you have now chosen to not have an afterlife. You're going to hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
I think
probably
that.
why your father is like, yeah, so we're taking the kids to church because you ain't putting them in hell.
Yeah.
You know what I
You're
mean?
not
I'm
going to bring
taking.
them down.
No,
Too.
exactly. You
Yeah.
do what you want to do. I can't stop you. However, those kids are innocent and they deserve to go to heaven too. So, like, I can understand.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it okay,
I
but I
know.
can understand
Right.
a little bit,
Right.
like, their terror on your behalf.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Oh,
they
yeah.
just don't want to acknowledge the fact that you're no longer in the church because, that to them makes no sense. I mean, it just.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you still talk to them all the time?
Do I now or then? Oh, well, we'll get to that part. But no, I do not talk to them.
Okay.
But yeah, people will find out why in a little bit too. But
That's the
yeah,
late night version, y'all.
I know.
Anyways.
What time is it? Yeah, the juicy, like the juicy stuff.
It's like 11:30 here, so yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel bad. It's like late there.
It is late. Damn right it's late.
I'm like, oh, it's late. So okay, I'm like trying to think where to go from here.
Okay, so your parents kind of
Yes.
still treated you like you were in the church. They just talked to you like,
Mm-hmm.
they just, it was kind of like one of those out of sight, out of mind. You're not in the church, you're not going to church, but, as far as their brain can comprehend, maybe you're going to church in the other ward. Who knows?
I
They could
know,
kind
or
of
that
like,
you will
yeah, they figure
someday.
you're going to come around someday. You're just like having a rebellious period. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
were the
Exactly.
people who, like, like the people in the church, like, did they treat you any type of way, like while you were, when you would go around them? I mean, I assume that the community, generally you were in a community that had a lot of Mormon people in it. So like you would shop
Yeah.
the places that they were, because I know some people could be
Yep.
like, all right, well, screw you. And then some people could be like, running the other way screaming. I don't know.
Yeah. There were quite a bit of Mormons in Colorado. There's a lot in Arizona. But yeah, I would go. I went to like Hobby Lobby, and I saw one of the ladies there. And she was always very friendly to me. You know, her husband was one of the counselors at one point with the bishop. You know, they were very well known. And yeah, I saw her look kind of my way, you know, and then you kind of start to like, you know, start to wave. And she just turned her, you know, just turned her back. And I was like, okay, well, that's okay. I just never had experienced that before. Like, I almost was like, did that just happen? Like,
Right.
you know, and so that really like opened up my eyes more because I was like, okay, basically all the people that were Mormon, they only liked me because I was Mormon,
Right.
or you know, and so yeah, I had people unfriend me on Facebook. Yeah, I just was what was it like? You know, I would cut their family's hair, you know, sometimes, but no more. You know, I mean, I was just like, wow, I can't even be in your house, like just because I left the church, or I can't even, you know, say hi to you at the store. It was just like really, it was really bizarre to me. Um, I mean, they even have these songs at church says like love one another, you know,
Unless you're
and all
not
that.
going to church.
Yeah, they love one of, you know, only if you're Mormon. They love those people. So it was really, it was just really odd to me. So I was like, okay, well, I made the right decision. You know, I was like, thank you for, you know, making me realize that I made the right decision. So yeah,
Savvy
it
wants
was
to
a good
know. He
thing.
says, "How old were you and your hubby when you left?" I'm assuming you were around like 32,
Yeah,
33,
probably like
because we're the
low
same
30s.
age.
That's right.
You
That's
look
right.
10 times better
So,
than me, but we're the same age.
oh my gosh. Stop. And then
It's
Chris
ridiculous.
is like three 3 years older than me. Chris is. So he was yeah,
Like
a little older.
36, 35, 36, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, and then yeah, and I forgot to say too. I don't know if this even makes a difference, but yeah, we married as virgins too. So
Congrats.
we were each other's firsts.
Aw.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's sweet. I mean, that's something that you don't see that very often anymore.
That's true.
But
That's true. You kind of take pride in, you know, you're like, yeah.
no, I mean, hey, own that. That's great. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
I got married after I had my first kid, so.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm sorry. After I had my second kid.
Oh, okay.
The first one wasn't with my ex-husband, so.
Oh, okay. I thought they were both with
I
your
have 3
okay.
children. My son's 19. He's in
Oh my
college.
gosh.
My daughter is going to be 18 in June. And then my other daughter is 8. And the
Okay.
2 girls have
She's
the
the
same
one I
dad.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've only seen the
So yeah,
youngest
I was
one,
not.
I think. Hey.
I was not an innocent wedding.
Hey, it is okay.
By any means.
I mean, you lived, yeah, it was like, you know, I feel like my life was not normal. So,
Well, we all experience our
yeah.
lives in a not normal fashion
Mm,
in a
mhm.
different way. Just because what I went through isn't what you went through doesn't mean that we both didn't have like insanely not normal childhoods or lives or whatever.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
true. It's like no one really has a normal
I think we're kind of
life.
opposites at this point. Like
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
so she was the perfect little innocent angel and I was like the devil whore. So yep, got it.
Is that a segue to get to the next? No, just kidding.
Take it as whatever you want.
Okay. So now, I'm trying to think how to transition to the next part. I'm trying to think how many years went by like after we left the church. Maybe it was just one. Yeah.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, you had tequila, so now you're free.
Oh, we were. Yeah. Vodka, cram.
Coffee, like come
Everything.
on,
Oh,
bring it.
coffee. Yes. Oh yeah. That was one of the
I'm not
first
wearing my
things
underwear.
that
I'm going commando. What you gonna do about it?
I.
Nothing. You're gonna do nothing. Ha ha.
I'm gonna be commando while drinking my coffee and
With a
having
shot of
a
vodka in it.
tequila. Yes. Yes. A shot. Exactly. Love it. Love it.
I do
The
that. That's a
trifecta.
daily thing for me. I don't know about anybody else, but
You're like, that's just a Monday. Monday for me.
what's up, LC3? Appreciate you coming through.
I forgot to have this tequila shot too.
Cheers.
Hmm.
Is that like a hey? You want to be spicy? I'm gonna drink tequila. It makes me feel
Yes.
spicy.
So yeah, we had a tequila version for the longest time because
Well, yeah. You
that night
like
ruined it. And then we
traumatic
went to
experience.
it was traumatic. And we 2 years ago we went to Mexico and we learned to like tequila again. So
All
we
it
just
takes is a good experience to wipe
Yeah.
away the bad one. Yeah,
and
I
the
get
good stuff.
it. Yeah, I get it.
So yeah,
So
exactly.
you guys are just
But
plugging along, not going to church, raising your kids, just
yes,
being married,
yes,
doing your
trying
thing.
trying to live life um like how we didn't grow up, which in a way it was actually kind of weird. Like, I would go to like some of my coworkers, they're like, "Hey, do you want to go to lunch on Sunday? Let's do this." And I was like, "Okay." Like it was just so weird to me because I never would do that or go to Target or, anything. And it seems so weird, but I was like, "Oh gosh, everyone knows like I'm not, you know,
I
I shouldn't
still,
be there."
if I go out during the day, I still feel like somebody's gonna get me for playing hooky from work.
Oh my
I
gosh.
still feel that way. I'm like, I'm not supposed to.
You're like, I'm going to be found out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone's
exactly.
like, why aren't you working?
No
Like,
one
I
cares.
don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's almost like I needed it's like weird. I almost needed therapy to get out of or to live life after church in a way. That sounds weird. But I had trouble making decisions for myself too.
Right.
Because I feel like, the guys are just so what is it? In control that my dad growing up, he just always made the decisions, so we always just sat back and let him, do that. And so I had to learn like to make my own decisions in a way, even where
It's
to
not easy.
eat.
When you
Like,
give up your when you become dependent on somebody else to make those choices and those
Mhm.
decisions, it's very
Mhm.
hard to take that power back.
Mhm.
Whether it's your
Yeah.
choice or whether it just is how it worked out or whether they demanded that kind of power over your life, it's very hard to
Oh
when you've
yeah.
done it for years and years and years to
Just switch. Yeah.
right and
All of a
to not
sudden.
only that but to have the confidence in decisions that you make because when someone else makes a decision it's kind of on them, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
all you got to do is just deal with it, right? And deal
Mhm.
with what happens and all that stuff. However,
Mhm.
if you're making them yourself, then now you own the consequences. You are
Yeah.
responsible, especially when they
Yeah.
involve other people. I completely understand that. I
Yeah.
did all the work, but got to make none of the official decisions my entire marriage.
Uh,
But
yeah.
it was a
Exactly.
form of control. I
Mhm.
literally made the only income that we had. I took care of the kids. I worked full time job, if not two, and I was trying to go to school at
Mhm.
some point. I paid all the bills. I did all the cleaning. I did everything,
Yeah.
but I didn't get to make
Yeah.
decisions because
Yeah. Exactly.
apparently,
Yeah. It wasn't the right
yeah.
choice, I
And so
guess,
to
altogether.
come out of
Yeah.
that, and have
Mhm.
full control over everything that's happening, it's a transition. It's not easy. It's not easy
Oh,
at all.
yeah. I would second guess myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wait, should I do this? Oh, I don't know. I would talk myself, out of it. And so, yeah, I had to like get used to, making my own decisions. I almost like wanted to like start a group on people like leaving religion and how to live life like, after leaving
Well,
in a way that,
people have to like be deprogrammed.
hmm
It's a thing,
oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, in any very immersive religion, there are deprogrammers
hmm
out there that they can reach out to and talk to, because it's some people literally they go back because they are just
I
they
know.
don't
They're
know how to
like,
do it on their own.
I can't do this. Yeah,
Like they're like,
exactly.
no, I'm too confused. I'm depressed. I don't know how to deal with. I don't know how to handle this. And then they could just
hmm
go back, because it's the same thing with
Just
abusive
easy.
relationships, y'all.
Oh,
If you guys
yeah,
don't see the
exactly.
correlation right there, it's the same
Yeah.
thing, because
Yep.
you already know what's going to
hmm
happen.
hmm
You already know that
Exactly.
if you say this or do that, this person's going to treat you like crap, but you don't know how this person that you've never met's going to treat you.
hmm
So, and
hmm
or you know that at least you'll have somebody. There's always an excuse as to why to go back,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
that
It's just
deprogramming
easier
is
too.
important. That's one thing,
hmm
by the way, and people know this about me. One thing I really want to do is if people get out of, or people that aren't ready to get out of an abusive situation, to be that non-judgmental person that will literally be there and not judge them for not being ready to leave yet, but still listen.
Yeah.
Like especially in
Yeah.
an abusive one, it's really hard. People are like, "Get out now, get out now." Sometimes
I
they're
mean,
not
it seems
ready.
so easy, but it's harder than,
So you have
yeah.
to, knowing that that's not the good decision for them, knowing that they're not ready, knowing that they're in an abusive relationship in any way, shape, or form is very
hmm
hard. But you have to
hmm
back off, because if they're not ready, you're going to push them right back where they are.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
Oh,
hard. So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That if I could do anything when it comes to
Uh,
community, that's what I would do.
oh
Is
my
to let
gosh.
them know that
Yeah.
it's
That'd be
okay.
awesome.
And it sounds like you would
Yeah.
want to do that in that same kind of
Yeah.
context, just within a different
The
genre,
religion
let's just say.
abuse. Or, I mean, I didn't
Yeah,
even know that was a thing until, yeah, I
yeah.
saw this lady. Yeah, she had an Instagram and she talks about religion abuse. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was kind of like that. Um,
It's an abuse
and
of power. Period. It's an abuse of
yeah,
power.
yeah, it really is.
When your choice does no longer matters, it's an
hmm
abuse of power.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no
Exactly.
way around it.
Yep. Yep. That is for sure.
So you guys
Um,
mucked around and started, making decisions and doing things without like the church, like a church approved,
yeah.
and you kind of snuck around and were doing stuff you weren't supposed to be doing and realized that you weren't going to be struck down by lightning,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I was like,
So,
oh, okay. I can go to Target on Sundays
and you
and
were still talking to your
everything's fine.
family, even if
Yeah,
the
at
people
that
in the
point,
church were being a little bit salty, it was
there
still
was like
cool. You
those
just
few.
mucked along on your own.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. Yeah, there were a couple that still would still talk to me and I was just like, and of course like the back of my mind, I'm like, are you just being nice to me because you still want me to come back? I
Right.
didn't know what their intentions were. I just had like a I don't know, a
Well,
trust
your
issue,
trust was
I
broken.
guess. Yeah.
Once you
Yeah.
stepped away and looked back, anyone that was
Mhm.
actively choosing to participate in something
Mhm.
that you no longer had any trust and faith in
Mhm. Mhm.
makes you question whether they're trustworthy and worthy of your
Yeah.
faith.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to
Exactly.
co-sign
Exactly.
to something that makes absolutely no sense to you,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. Exactly. Um and then so yeah, kind of that year um after
Desiree, we are
we
getting there.
left.
Calm yourself.
I'm like stalling like to get to the
She's like,
next
okay,
part.
so moving along to the NSFW. I'm teasing. She's teasing, but she's here for it. She's like, she's dying to
No,
know.
I don't blame her. I would be
Well,
the same.
we're about at the point where I mean, we've been going for almost 3 hours. So no, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, we're about at the
Mhm.
point where I can say we're literally late night.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. That is true.
I can't stay on too much longer. I can't stay more than an hour for sure. Absolutely sure.
Oh,
Because I have to
I
be up
mean,
at
even
5.
like
So,
30 minutes kind of too.
yeah, 30 minutes. We
Uh,
will run through this. Like, don't worry. It's worth it, Desiree. Don't worry.
Um,
And I told her
and
she didn't even have
so,
to talk about it if she didn't want to. If she decided that she didn't want to talk about it,
yeah.
I'm completely fine with that.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is your
Yeah,
story.
I
This was your
definitely
journey
had
and everything that
a
you had to
choice.
go through. So that's why she's talking about all the different stuff that she was dealing with in the
I know,
meantime.
it's like I didn't know where to begin because it's like, it's like you want to, tell people like how, you know, just like where you came from, and then they kind of get an understanding on how, you know, you get to like a certain point.
Right.
And so, yeah, like a year after we left, then, oh gosh, like now I'm like even trying to think about how we even kind of dabbled into this certain thing. We, me and Chris, like he always had kind of like I don't know, like a fantasy of me being with other guys. And
That's not
I
uncommon.
just, is it pretty common? And I
It's not
never,
uncommon. I'll put it that way.
or not
Whether
uncommon.
yeah,
That
it's
makes
not
sense.
uncommon. And that's you have to understand that I
Hmm.
also deal with a lot of people that are into things that not necessarily your run of the mill people are going to be into. So
Hmm.
it
Exactly.
is definitely a whole
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jess says you're
Yeah.
doing a great job, Amy. Here for whatever you want to tell us. Thank you, Jess. That was
Mm,
really sweet of you.
thank you.
No, seriously, people have been invested in this, and I'm sure that some people that
Oh
left will
gosh.
come back and finish because
Yeah. And I totally understand that too. Because I'm like, oh gosh, I feel like I like said nonsense. But it's,
no.
yeah,
By the
there's
way,
just like
this is
so
hard
much
for you. This is your
to it.
first time going
I know.
into every like the
I know, right?
entirety of you're putting your life out here and saying
Yeah.
this is what I went through. These are the moments that stuck out to me and I felt relevant. This
Mhm.
is the first time you're
Mhm.
doing this. Especially not
Mhm.
only is it the first time you're having this sit down conversation with someone about it. On
Mhm.
top of that,
Mhm.
you're on YouTube and you're live, right? With an
Hey,
audience.
don't say that now. Now
No,
you're
I'm just
making
saying
me risk it. Just kidding.
no, what I'm trying to tell you
Yeah.
is that
Mhm.
you're a badass.
Oh gosh.
Like, I don't think you understand just how amazing you are for doing that. Like, you not only were like, you know what, I'm going to tell my story, but I'm going to tell my story and
There's,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? You're going to do
and
it and
some.
you're not going to tell your story in a journal and like pass it to someone on the sly. Like, you're literally like, I need to get this out there.
Yeah,
So good. Get it out. We got you.
that's true. And it's funny because it's like I just feel like I'm talking to you. Like, I mean, I know that people are listening, but you know, it's like in my mind, I'm just like I'm telling you my story, and then like there just happens
That's
to
what I'm
be
here for. That's the
people
point.
listening. um, and so
So he
yeah,
had a
and so
fantasy
he
of
had a
seeing you with like
fantasy.
another man.
Mhm.
Like
Um,
both like
yeah,
participating like a threesome type or like literally a voyeuristic type thing.
yeah, a voyeur.
Like
Yeah,
sitting
I can't
back
say
and
that word.
watching you with another man.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly. And of course, like, you just think like, okay, ha ha ha, like, oh yeah, like, just keep that fantasy, we'll
Right.
just like, talk about it. And then, like you just think like that can't happen. Like, how would you even like begin,
Right.
to do that? And yeah, gosh, what was it? So one day, like, yeah, we kept like kind of talking about it. And then one day, Chris was like, I made a profile for you and you're on like a site. I was like, what? Okay. um, and then it, okay, Chris is talking. He's like, that's not how it happened. Do you, I don't know, do
How'd it
people want
happen,
Chris in
Chris?
here?
How'd it happen?
Do you guys want, I don't know. I'm like, do you want Chris to come
It's up to you.
in?
Whatever you want. We're here.
And talk about it too. He's better at remembering stuff than I am for sure. But Chris, do you want to come in?
Yeah, I guess I can. I don't. Do you
I
guys
was
have time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do this. So we can both talk.
Hi, Chris.
Should we take these off?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's come through. Can you guys hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do you want a chair?
No, it's fine.
Just
This
like
is your
kneeling.
You're just asking about how we started. I'm going to slide you over.
You're like,
You guys hear us okay?
yeah, I can hear you fine.
Sorry, we'll put it. She has this. I got her a bougie mic so you guys could hear her. Are you just asking about how we started?
Yeah, I got to the part where we started. Yeah.
Did you talk about how we've been talking about with the therapist?
No, see, this is why I need him.
So we actually we opened our marriage with a therapist. So this isn't just something that happened out of the ether.
That's true.
Like we had been talking about it, and she had been, kind of testing the water. So we went about it, and a lot of people that get into the lifestyle and open their marriage don't do it that way. And she gave us some assigned reading. Like we read this book called The Ethical Slut.
Well, you read it.
Well, she told us both to read it, and I would read it, and I'd tell her what was in it.
The
What
clip
was the
notes.
book called?
Yeah.
I'll bring it up.
But it was a process, and it took us. We didn't just dive. You made it sound like one day I made a profile, and that's how we started, and that is absolutely not
Surprise.
how we started. So
It's like I'm trying to like condense it.
I
So
know,
it's like not
but
like
that makes me look like
5 hours. No,
like
I know.
You're making everybody look like I'm an asshole.
No.
Like I'm just like, nah. Like there was a thing, okay?
No,
Like,
we talked about the
okay.
fantasy. It was a fantasy.
Yes, and it's like you have fantasies and you talk about it, especially like while you're doing it, and then afterwards it's like out of the pillowcase or out of the bedroom, out of the pillowcase, out of the bedroom. It's but like we always had a strong libido and a sexual energy, and I knew that part of her was there, and I really wanted her to experience that. And we talked,
like explore.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then one day, actually, you reached out to that guy on Facebook.
Oh.
That's what started it.
Yeah.
We'd been talking about it in therapy before, but then I was like, okay, she's ready. Like she started to flirt with this guy, and he kind of blew her off. And I was like, Amy, like,
I knew him from church. He left the church also. And we were at this, I babysat like his brothers. But I always thought he was cute. And sometimes we would, kind of flirt and stuff when we saw each other. So I was just like, And we were kind of having a little issues, too. And so I was like,
yeah.
See.
Well, I knew she was ready at that point. And then we had a conversation, and I said, if I made a profile for you, I was like, this guy's not interested in you. But if you made like a profile, you'd say how much you're gorgeous. Like so many guys would respond to you. And she went, oh, okay. And I took that as a go ahead. She came home and was like, I made a profile. It's really popular. And
I was like, well, what? Okay.
Anyway.
And then, yeah. So that's, yeah.
Do you want to take
That's
it from
where
there?
Well,
Well, then, I mean, this is, that was your journey. I mean, my part at that point was just deleting dick pics so that you could read the normal guys. So
I know, right?
There was just like this inundation, but within the, it's stuff that women go through right now, dating online.
The online dating. Yeah.
And we were dumb. We went to, we didn't know anything. So we went to Ashley Madison. We're like, where do you go if you're married but still looking? And so we went to a cheating website.
Right.
And, long story short, they acted like cheaters. The communication skills were poor. They would, stop talking suddenly. Basically all the bad behaviors that got them into having to cheat, they manifested.
It made sense.
Yeah. But we didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it was
we
a bit of a
so,
journey to get to the lifestyle, to get to swinging. Yeah.
For having us, but like he liked to see me, get that part first, I guess.
Yeah.
And then eventually you were like, wait, let's.
Well, we had a girl
dabble.
over. Yeah, I was like, maybe I could too. And then we had a girl come over, and then she was interested in both of us. And that sort of, suddenly you're doing stuff together, and that was really fun. Like it was like we were both there, and it was like something we could do together.
Right.
And then the problem with when you're doing this with single people is they're very flaky. They're hard to communicate with. It can be a struggle.
Mhm.
And then people are like, well, have you tried like other people that are married that know how to have relationships and be trusting? And then we went to our first swinger party, and it was amazing. Like there's a couple that like there's two couples we talked to, and we're not gonna go into too much detail.
We kind of messaged them, beforehand, just to, just kind of like see how they, how they were and stuff.
And we didn't go in with any. We're not like this is gonna happen or this isn't, which I think is the best way to go into any experience.
No expectations.
Just let what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But we had an amazing time, and the next morning we were like, "Oh, this is for us. These are our people. They talk to each other. They're respectful to everybody."
Mm-hmm. We're just like on cloud 9. We're just like, oh my gosh, that was like awesome.
Yeah. So it took us a while, but where we are now in it is we try to be advocates to people coming in so that they don't make some of the dumb mistakes that we made.
But sometimes they need to kind of go through those too.
No, that's true. Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
Honestly, any relationship has got to be what you as your partner decide it is. So you can borrow what works from other people, but if it doesn't work, don't feel bad if what yours looks like is different than other people's. You have to advocate for that, even if maybe you feel embarrassed. I mean, look at us. What we're doing is abnormal, but it works for us, and you really have to do that. And even on the swinger level, that's important.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you see couples like you can tell like one person's kind of into it than the other. You're just like, oh, are they just like going along with it because the husband is really into it,
or the other way too. We say the other way where one or the other's all gung ho, and the other one's real like doesn't want this to happen, right? And they're like they just don't want to admit it. That can be a struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I would assume that the key is communication.
Oh yeah,
like you have
communication
to be
is like
honest.
so important. Yeah,
because if you're not honest,
honestly,
you have to know that that's what you want.
Oh yeah.
You'd be like, what? I didn't like that, and that's not what I want to do again. Because otherwise, your partner might think that something is for you, and you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. And then there's the resentment comes in.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Because the whole point is for you guys
we learned that early. We don't even remember what it was, but we were fighting about not fighting. We both were uncomfortable with the situation. And neither of us said anything because we didn't want to ruin it for the other one.
Yeah.
And then we ended up realizing and she was like, well, I didn't want to ruin it for you. And I was like, well, I didn't want to ruin it for you. And then we're like, we're never going to do that again. So we're like, anytime any one of us is uncomfortable with something, even if the reason is silly, if you're like, I'm just being jealous right now, or I just feel uncomfortable, or I don't know why that guy reminds me of the teacher that I hated, you know what I mean? Just whatever. We agreed that we were going to say it immediately. And the neat thing about doing this is that you have to communicate at kind of a higher level. And it really leveled up our marriage. Because you can't do that in that circumstance and not do it throughout your whole relationship. Like you just start doing that. You start sharing all the time. You start sharing your feels. You start being super honest. And anytime you do that, any relationship is going to get better. And that's like the biggest thing that we loved about it, is it was making our entire relationship better. Yeah, it's fun to go do sexy things, but it's more fun to, grow your relationship with your partner and grow the trust and honesty with each other. We didn't expect that. And the costumes, we really like dressing up.
We like the theme parties.
Well,
yeah.
I've seen people that are into, the BDSM lifestyle and things of that nature. They have to be very communicative too. They have to make sure that their needs are being met, or that if something is beyond their comfort zone, they have to be vocal about it. They absolutely, because I mean, once you break the trust in that type of a relationship and that type of a dynamic, you cannot get it back.
Yeah.
You cannot get it back.
And the other way is true too. We're not really part of the kink scene, but part of that trust is what enhances the experience for those people.
Right.
So it's the other way too. They don't get the juice out of it if there's not that really close, it's like they're going for that adrenaline rush, right? And you can't have that if you don't implicitly trust the person that you're with. So it's actually both ways. It doesn't work. Obviously it's terrible if you break trust, but it's also the other way. You don't get the juice out of it if you're not in that close bond. So absolutely.
Yeah. And we honestly, we just like meeting other people that
Yeah.
are non-judgmental,
Yeah.
because it's like all our lives we're with judgy people,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like fun to just like, you know, be able to talk about anything and just not have, you know, judgment. So
Yeah,
that's probably like, what would you say, like 75%?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you
Right.
brought that up, because I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of misconceptions about this.
Mhm.
We don't do like sexy stuff with most of the people we're with, including the people that we hang out with. Most of the time, we're just hanging out and having a fun time.
Playing board games.
Yeah, or dress. You know,
drinking,
I mean,
yeah.
you'll sometimes you'll dress like kind of provocatively, or you'll sit in a hot tub naked, but stuff like that. But it's really more
Mhm.
about being in a community that accepts you and accepts your willingness to express yourself in a certain way.
Mhm.
I think people think you just show up and an orgy just happens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's actually hard to find people.
No.
Like now, instead of matching, you know, like you're dating, you're just matching one person. Imagine matching all four.
Four-way.
That's hard, right? And so you have to let that go and just let it be about the experience and accepting people where they're at and loving people. And that's really the secret, is it's not about that. It's about all the stuff around it. It's not about
Right.
the sex.
Mhm.
It's all the other things around it that make you want to stay.
And just kind of like the flirt, you know, like you kind of just kind of getting those butterflies, you know, for like when you see someone like cute, you know, you're like, oh, I want to like kind of flirt, you know, and since we didn't really get like normal dating
Yeah.
experiences, it's kind of just like fun to get those kind of like, you know, butterflies again.
And it's fun to see her get that. Like when after a while, when your partner tells you you're handsome, it feels like your mom saying it. You know what I mean? Like
No,
I'm
I
like,
get
oh,
it.
you're so beautiful. It's like you're supposed to say
I'm
that
like,
you're my husband.
okay.
It totally reignites all that when there's somebody else providing that, or you're seeing it. You know, you're seeing that. And I will say it's not for everybody, right?
Right.
Some people just aren't okay with that, and they don't even need it, right? But for people that maybe do and they're hiding it, it's worth walking out and trying it. And yeah, I mean, it's just and it looks different. Nobody's the same way. Some people only kiss. Some people just go into the parties. Like there's no rules. You have to do certain things.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna do their own comfort level, right? And the biggest thing is we just accept everybody there, how they are and where they're at. And that's really the fun of it.
Can I ask you a question as a couple?
Sorry, what? Oh, ask a question as a couple?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that leaving the Mormon religion, leaving the church, and the way you were brought up, the way that things happened during, before, after, all that stuff, do you think that had any type of a direct impact on your decision to choose to explore this lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't not, right?
I like 90%, I would say.
Okay.
And you know, when stuff's repressed, it makes it kinkier. So yeah, 100%, right?
Right. No, I get that. I was just
mean,
curious because, for example, some people tend to like certain things because maybe in their childhood they had this, that, or the other happen. You know, you hear about strippers and, you know, and their dads and their absent parents and all that stuff. I'm, you know, you know what I'm saying. So there's usually a direct correlation, but not always, right?
Right.
Sometimes that's just, something that sounded good. But a lot of times it tends to be just part of a personality or part of an upbringing, something that like was always unobtainable, and now you can.
Or it's naughty, right?
Or
it's naughty, and that makes it more fun, right?
Without
for sure
that structure, that hardcore demanding structure where you're over. What's the word? Where, like, you know, you have to cover up certain things and you can't act a certain way and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, to the point where it's like you explore it to a different level because you know that you wanted to try it because it's something that it's been withheld from you for so long. Would that have propelled you into doing something more extreme than just, you know, what a lot of other people might have done? Could it have propelled you further because you felt so held down like a spring that's coiled?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And we didn't get a lot of people get that out of their system in college, you know, and in their 20s.
Right.
And then they realize they're like, this isn't bringing me any joy. I want to settle down. We didn't do any of that. So
it's like we're living our college life now.
I get that. No, I
You
completely get that.
But I would say we wouldn't stay, like I said, if it wasn't those peripheral other things that
Mhm.
provided that joy and friendship and kindness. It was just about sex or partying. We would have left a long time
Oh yeah,
ago.
it's not about
Yeah.
Right.
exactly.
But like
Mhm.
anything, if you repress it, it makes it, it's like you said, it's a coil.
Mhm.
There's energy, that's potential energy in that coil,
Mhm.
and it's released. So for sure.
Yeah.
And you usually are around other couples. They're generally it's not like some couples and a couple of single people. They're generally all couples.
Sometimes there's singles.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a mix, right?
Yeah, there's a mix. Yeah.
But it's
I mean,
not like
it's a little harder,
required.
like to bring just one, like well, I mean, the single guys kind of get a little bit of a bad reputation,
they
but but yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, do most people know the unicorn,
Yeah, there's actually like a whole
like-
nomenclature with
Mhm.
this lifestyle. Like a single female, like most of the people that want to bring a third, they're looking for a girl. They want to have a threesome. A female partner wants to bring, she's never maybe explored the bi side that's always been there. And then of course the guy is like, I want that. And so
He's like,
everybody,
okay.
yeah. So there's actually a large group of people that come in and they think they're just going to be able to just grab a girl and get going, and they very quickly learn that that's not the case. And so there's a name for. I don't like it. I think it's dehumanizing. They call them unicorns. I just call them single females. So I say single males, and it means you're romantically unattached, right? Mm-hmm. But they call them unicorns, like they're mythical. They're really hard to find, and they're not. There are some there. But they can also be really hard to deal with because they know everybody wants them. So they can be kind of diva-ish too.
Oh,
Even though we started with one, I guess, right?
I guess that's true.
So, but yeah, and she was great. She wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, she was down there.
Yeah, but that's not the usual experience. So, yeah.
Yeah, I tried that one twice in my marriage. It was an anniversary gift each time, and it was. That's not for me. Females are not for me. They're just they're too soft and just shaped weird. I don't like it. It's just.
I would say too, it's not a perfect community. There's this unconscious. Amy has done that has that side, but if you're like where you are, where you're just not really sexually interested in women at all, that can be. People are like, what?
I know, people are like, why?
And then it's worse if you're a bi male. Like there are people, even if you're like, it's very easy to just not do something with someone, right? If you're like, okay, well, I just won't kiss you or whatever. Because like personally, I don't want to be with somebody that doesn't want to be with me. But they'll act like you have cooties if you're a bi male. So that is a struggle. Like there's definitely some pieces of the lifestyle that aren't as progressive as they probably could be.
Right. But at least, I guess that's your whole point where you were talking about the community. And how you know that they're not going to judge you. And that's how you know you found your people.
Yeah.
Because people will come and go that are going to be judgy, but I guarantee you they're not going to last long. Because people are going to run them off. Like, oh, wait, you said, you got a problem with, us, our people, and, you're going to be judgy, then they wouldn't be wanted, I would assume.
Yeah, it's a small community. And if reputation gets out that you're like that, or if you're like, like toxic or volatile, I mean, you'll burn, like nobody will go out with you very quickly. So they almost, because everybody's kind of going for that, it kind of polices itself a little bit, right? And also they've all gone through, a lot of the people have gone through what we've gone through, like cases where they had this intersexuality and they wanted to get it out. And
there's a lot of ex-Mormons here.
Yeah, there's like Catholics and it's really funny. There's a lot of elementary school teachers, like people that, like women that have to repress their sexuality all the time, to an nth degree.
On the flip side of it, I do want them to repress their sexuality in the classroom. I mean, outside of it, as long as that's fine with me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, let your freak flag fly. Like, do your thing, but. Of course, I completely agree that they should repress that in the classroom. And I'm sorry, but I believe that across the board. I think that anything sexual does not belong in the schools at all.
Well, for sure.
In any way, shape, or form. I don't think that they're the ones who should be teaching my children about it. I don't think they need to be pushing any agendas. I don't think any of that. But that's a conversation for a different day. But I'm saying I completely understand that because people will judge. People will be like, look, like, what are you doing? What, that's not normal. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know, they're going to be
Mhm.
judgmental, and they will treat you. I mean, it's literally like, what kind of books do you like to read?
Mhm.
You like mystery? Oh, you like self help? Like, oh, you know, I read dirty, dirty, dirty books, and everybody knows it. Like, I've got my whole shelf
You're like,
sitting over there.
everyone
I
knows.
talk about it all the time, all the time. And I have the authors come on and they talk about writing these dirty, dirty books. And I'm here for it. Do you know what I'm saying? But to other people, if I'm like, they're like, ew, you're reading porn. How could you? And I'm like, with my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. I think it's awesome that you guys have found something that you truly love.
Mhm.
I think it's awesome that you guys have found it together. And I think it's amazing that it's helped you grow as partners. And,
Yeah.
you know, with all the things that you guys have gone through and the shock and it's not easy to leave your entire life, your entire lifestyle, however you were brought up, what your family believes in, and your idea up until a certain point of what is going to provide you eternal life. To literally walk away from what you have invested yourself into as the means to an eternal life, and to say, no, I don't believe this is the path that leads me there. Because if you're wrong, right? If you're wrong, but that's the same with any religion. It's the same as somebody saying, you know, if I do this, that, or the other, if I make confessional every day, if I go to enough mass, if I go on Easter, if I have my last rites said, if I, you know, jump backwards 3 times and spin in a circle and fly off on a broomstick, I'm going to end up going to wherever you may end up. So it's not specific to, like, you know, the Mormon religion. It's not specific to any of them. But it's hard. And to be able to come out of that on the other side and find something that is kind of, like, awesome. Sorry. I mean, like I told you, I read dirty books. Like, you think I don't read about that all the time? But on top of that, to be able to own it and to find a good community, people that don't judge you, and to find your comfortability with each other, I think that's amazing. I mean, shout out to both of you for that. I assume
I feel like I lost my or wasted the first 30 years of my life. I'm like, it doesn't count. So sometimes it makes me, I don't know, angry, but I'm like, gosh, I just wasted all that. But
and for me, it's like you talked about that eternal living. That life made me miserable, and so that would be hell. If that's what if I was going to be that way forever, that would be hell. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna. It took me a while because I was like, but I'm supposed to. This is what I believe or whatever. But letting go of that was sort of the last. It's that parable about the monkey where he puts his hand in the hole and he picks up the banana and he has to let go of the banana to get his hand out, but he doesn't want to let go of the banana.
Right.
That was the last banana for me, is what I tell people. And it was I was like, I'd rather live like this and whatever and be happy. And my concept of whatever God is, I'm mostly an atheist. There could be something, but I was like, I really believe if there's a person that's all loving, they don't want me to be miserable right now, and they'd rather me, be this way and be happy.
Right.
And I was still a good person. That was the other thing they lied about. They're like, if you do this, you'll turn into, angry and a drug addict and an alcoholic, and you'll ruin your life. And our life has gotten better since we left. So nothing they said to fear us into obedience was true.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you might be 90 and I don't know, get addicted to some type of, beta blockers or something.
That's funny. Or donuts. I'm addicted to donuts, right?
Trying to think what else. I can't think of anything.
I'm gonna take a big fat leap here and think that most likely there are some people that are not amused by your decisions.
Oh
yeah. That's what I was afraid of, because I was like, should I just talk about me leaving the church? Or I was like, I was a little weary about adding this part of it, But I was like, you know what? What else do I? Well, I mean, this was another part too, that my parents did find out, and they basically disowned us. So I was like, what else do I have to lose? My family already left me, so
That's
I'm like,
sad.
whatever.
And it's
Mhm.
weird too. We're in a time where, like we've seen like gay marriage be, held up by the court, and we're getting into trans rights and things like that. But it's true. Like people that are in consensually, ethically non-monogamous relationships have to hide it. It's just, it's weird. So it's weird how that's
Yeah.
like the place. It's like they're basically outside of that. They're just your neighbors, and they really are. If you found out who was a swinger, you'd be like, oh my god, my dentist. Oh my god, my
I
she
hope he
brings
washed his
stuff to
hands.
church.
That's all I would think.
they're
I don't like the word swinger though.
yeah, we hate that, but I say that
Like,
for
It's a
and most
concise
people in the
way.
lifestyle don't use that word.
It's a
so.
concise way of
Yeah.
saying something that people that in layman quote like in layman's terms that makes sense
Yeah,
to outside
yeah,
people
that's true.
as
that's
to
a
what
great
you're
word.
referring to.
Exactly.
Whether it is the word that you prefer to use, which we understand it's not, it's still to anybody outside listening in, they go, okay, well, I know what that means.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether
that's true.
it describes you as a person or not, I'm not saying it's besides the point or invalid. I'm just saying that that's why you're using it. I understand that completely.
Yeah, and that's why I use it here, right?
Yeah. Which I appreciate
But she's
because
right.
like although I don't think there's a single person in this chat right now that is part of that lifestyle.
Oh.
I mean, I can't be a part of that lifestyle. I'm
Well,
like
I
by
know that's
myself
not
in my
true because
house.
a couple people that are friends are on.
Oh, that's true. Well, or they'll see it later.
Yeah, they might see it later. I'm saying like right now, the people. Let me clarify. The people that I know, like in my community,
Okay.
if they
Okay.
are like, hey, kudos to you. You want to come up here and talk too? That's cool. No, but I don't want anybody to be judgmental. I don't think there's a reason for it. I think that everybody goes through their things, and they come out of it a little bit different on the other side, no matter what it might be. And however you choose to, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, as long as you're not putting it like in my face to the point where I'm required to participate. And I'm not talking about you guys.
Then it would be.
And nobody wants
anything,
that, right?
Like whether like your decision on how you cope after all the things that you have been through is to run 10 miles. Do you, boo-boo, but don't you dare make me do it.
Right.
That's not
like
happening.
if you want to run 10 miles, they will help you, right? But nobody wants to make anybody do like this, and it's not fun. Like we talked about any activity, if there's something you hate doing, why would you want to take somebody there and be with them while they're hating
kicking
it?
and screaming?
Yeah, or just miserable. It's just not
but I don't think there's any reason to be negative about what you choose to do. It's your marriage. It's your relationship. That's
true.
Yeah.
Consensual. It is. I mean, even people that participate in DubCon, like they're making a choice. It's an active choice. That's different. That's when you see people set that kind of stuff up all the time where they're going to have their fantasy lived out and they know what's happening. They sign the waivers. They work all of that out. But that's their active choice. Now, if anybody's going to be like, how could you choose that? They have no right to say that, I don't think.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, the U.S. is still very puritanical and kind of heebie-jeebie about talking about sex. Like, Europe isn't quite so much that way. They're kind of more forward-thinking about it. But we recognize that, and we're nervous when we tell people that we feel like are our good friends. And some of them have been mad that we were nervous. They're like, I can't believe you thought I would judge you. And we were like, I don't know. So yeah, but it's like there is that. There's a little bit of a stigma. I think it's similar to when like sort of bisexuality or even just homosexuality started coming to the forefront, like the 90s, early 2000s. There were people that, for example, like with bi people, thought that they had no morals or they had no, like they slept with everybody. It's like, what, you don't think they have standards just because they're attracted to additional genders? Right. You know what I mean? That's like us. It's not like we're going to just try to hook up with everyone we talk to. That's not how it works. So there's definitely some stigmas to it, for sure.
I mean, if that was how it worked in your relationship and you guys were cool with that, then who has the right to say anything different anyway?
You'll be disappointed a lot if you're going for everyone, but you do you, right?
Just like throw and see who catches it, just like put it out there, just walk around and be like, hey,
You'll piss off a lot of neighbors.
Anybody?
Probably get fired at work.
It's
Like,
not just this; it's this too. So anybody? Nobody? Anybody?
Anybody?
it's like open for business around your neck.
Oh gosh, no.
You walk around naked with one of those sandwich boards.
I
Open
mean,
for business, and so is he. I mean,
anyone can have it. Like that Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
When he's the model, and he's like, I'm waiting in the parking lot to give you diabetes.
Okay.
Or not diabetes.
No, it was
hepatitis. Just gross.
I mean, in all honesty, I can't thank you guys enough for, and Amy for sitting here for this entire time and just putting your life out there.
It was fun. It just like flew by.
And telling your story and laying it open like that. I mean, that's like ripping that stuff open and laying it out there for everyone to hear. And whether anyone listening thinks that it was a hard time or something that was like really complicated. For you, this is your world, your life, your family. This is everything. So for you to do that here with me and, in this community, and it's just so brave of you, and I love you to pieces for it. Because I just felt like I saw your stories too, and I just feel like you needed to say it. You need to get it out there.
Yeah.
This is me. This is my story. This is my truth. Now, if you go back later and you're like, okay, well, if I do want to advocate for people in this that are making this decision, to leave a religion, and that you kind of want to help them or guide them or be in a forum or a group chat or something, and there's pieces of it that okay, well, I don't need to get that out this time, or maybe there's something I missed. You have a reference point.
Sure.
Or you have something to direct them to and say, look, I told my whole story. If you want to hear it, it's there, but here's my version. You can do whatever you want. But your truth is out there.
I hope I said everything that I like. Did I leave anything out?
You did great. You're absolutely great.
No, you did amazing. And honestly, and Chris, thank you. I mean, for being here for my friend, because I love her to pieces. I always have. And
she's all right.
From a long time ago.
She's pretty cool.
I knew her before you did, so I don't even want to.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
you did.
You're like, I was all in before you.
I was. I
That's
slept
funny.
with her in the room before you did.
All right.
So there.
Well, I got 15
there.
years on this, so we're in our 15th year here. So.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you guys. I dipped out at like 14 years because
You know what? Good for you though. 'Cause,
I
are you
have
happier
done-
because of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you
It's worth it.
read a lot of Esther Perel, but like you read about these old couples and they stay married, but they were horrible to each other. Like that's not a success. Like if the only criterion for a successful marriage is one of you dies when you're still married, that's not a good way to judge a marriage.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
It almost
So-
happened though, and so I thought that's an indication this is a bad marriage. He tried to unalive me, so I think that was a really good indication that this probably didn't need to continue.
Yes.
So
Yes.
no,
I'm
I'm
glad you
absolutely.
got out of that.
I'm so glad that you guys found each other and that you guys came to the same conclusion and didn't have to go through a heartbreak of separating each other because maybe one of you was not going to go that route. I'm glad that you guys
Right?
you guys
You
obviously
could have
were
done.
meant to be. You have
Could've gone
beautiful
really bad.
children. You guys are right here.
I know she has their Christmas card.
Hey, I know those people.
Ever since I
I'm wearing
got
my
it,
vest.
it's been there ever since I got it.
Yeah.
put it there and I
Yeah,
haven't
it's like
taken it
there
down.
like 4 years from now.
So like on every video, it's behind me. No, and nobody's asked who it was or anything. It's just and
I'm always with you.
you can't really tell
Aw.
because it's hard to see there, but it's there.
I know it's there.
But no, I really appreciate you taking this time. I mean, we've gone for 3.5 hours at this point.
Well, I just feel bad. Like, hopefully, people haven't fallen asleep, or at least they'll watch it later.
They're like,
maybe.
where's the sex stuff?
I know. They're like, fast forward to the.
No. The thing is that I wasn't. I mean, sure, you can tease people with something like that, but this was about you telling your story and telling your truth and what you needed to get out there.
Yeah.
And for me to
Yeah.
ask all the questions because I was dying to know. And I have
Mhm.
more. Like, don't get me wrong.
No, I know. I'm like, hope
I need you to
answered,
watch
like-
Big Love and tell me if it's true. That's all.
Yeah, I want to watch. I want to watch that.
Their temple scene is a little off, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But there's like the polygamy is like fundamentalist, so that's not
Right.
what we did.
No,
So-
I
But
did
it did
that.
start off that way.
It did.
So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No, I completely get that. But no, I really
Mhm.
appreciate it. I mean, I'm not gonna take you guys' time any longer than this. I have to go to bed.
Well,
I know a
I'm
lot
like,
of other
you need
people
to
do.
get to bed.
No, we all gotta go to bed, man. I gotta work in
I
like
know.
4 hours. So
Gotta go work
I
tomorrow.
know.
no,
I
I'm
know.
here for it. I had a blast, and I know a lot of people were hanging in until they couldn't anymore, and they're gonna go back
They're
and
like,
they'll watch it later. And I know
can't
people
They
that
got
watch
to
listen.
anymore. Yeah.
I mean, thank
Well,
you.
sorry I
both.
jumped in.
Thank you.
No,
So,
we're
but
happy
this
you
was
jumped in.
fantastic.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm like,
Setting
bye.
up. he's going.
Yeah.
It's funny.
No, but I really do appreciate it. I am going to probably end it here just because
Okay.
I also
Yeah.
need to go smoke a cigarette before I bite my own arm
Good
off.
for
That's
you.
probably
Yes.
a
Go
thing.
get it.
Do it. Oh, gosh.
I'll pull you back in here.
Well, I
funny.
almost
Bit
ate
it.
it there.
No.
Oh goodness.
But Amy, thank you so much. I mean, honestly,
Oh.
for sharing your truth, sharing your story. I mean, I hope you feel better getting it out there.
Yes.
If at any point in time and you ever decide that you don't want it out there, you let me know. I will take it down. This is your
Oh.
truth. This is your story. I would never be like, hey, you can't.
Yeah.
So
It's mine now.
yeah. But no, I definitely want to thank everybody who's been here this entire time for being here.
Yes. Thank
Everyone
you,
who's showed
everybody.
up, everyone who's been here listening, asking questions. Thank you for the great questions. And anyone who's listening in the future, appreciate that as well. And special
Mhm.
shout out to Jess for being here since minute one, and Desiree for hanging in there as well as all of the people in the
Thank
chat that are in the
you.
live chat right now, and anybody that listens in the future on any other platform as well.
Yes, definitely.
But
Yeah. Listen to Kat.
yeah,
Follow her page.
yeah, definitely hit the like, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment for the algorithm. Damn it, most of you guys don't do that, but that's okay. I love you anyway. I won't be mad.
You're like, do it.
No, but sincerely, Amy, I appreciate you so much. I definitely do have to get out of here, and
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and cut this short or long. Cut this long. I'm gonna cut this long.
No, you're right.
But thank you. And anytime that you ever have anything else you want to add or talk about or anything like that, please feel free to let me know, and we can hop on here anytime now that you've done it. And I think that it'll
Yeah.
probably be 10 times easier for you. You won't be as nervous. There you go.
I know, right?
Hey,
No, this was awesome.
your first
So,
one, you went for
thank you.
3.5 hours like that. Good on you.
Good for you too.
But no, I
Ah.
love you guys. Thank you so much for all of this. I'm
Love
going to go ahead and
you.
end this. And you have a wonderful night.
Love you too, Kat.
Bye.
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 Yeah. We living over here. Look at the way we moving. Saying she with it.
Everybody.
It's time to make it
What
prove it.
up?
I'm trying to get it wet. I have you
We're
licking
back.
fluid. And if it's money to be made, you never beat me to it. I be on the grind. Ho. Finally my time. Ho. I be in Los Angeles, balling harder than Lonzo. Money is the only thing that I be making time for. Don't
What you got going on? How we feeling?
Doing it every time, though.
How we living out there?
Claws in the